You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
Only a synth loves baseball.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waste. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waste.
Hello and welcome to the 470th edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks. Tonight, I've got Ray. What's up, Ray?
Hello, hello.
And Jess. What's up, Jess?
Hey, Andrew. Greets, everybody.
And returning guest, we also have Dawn with us tonight. Hi, Dawn. How's it going?
It's going great. How are you guys?
Wonderful to have you. Welcome to the show. Welcome back. Tonight, everybody, on the show, we will go over some recent gameplay, as per usual. Also, a little bit of feedback and gameplay from our group of folks here. We've got some Iguana Bits. Good dose. Big bite of Iguana Bits tonight.
Pretty chunky.
And also, we're going to resurrect a segment of the show that's sort of fallen to the wayside a little bit. We're going to bring back Fallout Terminal Velocity, where people, Wastelanders, report back to us with cool letters or terminal entries or Pip-Boy things or whatever. You find little tidbits around the wasteland. And they send them on in. This week we'll hear from Radioactive Rebecca, who actually started up this project with us way back in the day.
That is awesome. I'm glad Terminal Velocity is back. You can't stop the signal, Mal. That's what I always say.
She went down to Diamond City and did a 5-parter. We'll start with part 1 of Diamond City tonight. And then some shouts on the way out the door. So let's go ahead and roll right into it. Dawn, since you're a special guest, and why don't we let you have the honors? Have you been getting into any games recently you like to talk about?
Well, I've been trying to, slog my way through the chore board for this season. I finally made it to 77.
You still doing that?
But that's all I've had time for. I've been doing a lot of traveling the past few weeks and then been busy with work. But I had an awesome month of June. I got to be gone for a while. I was at the beach for a week, which was really fun. And then
nice.
I went to West Virginia and met up with some friends from Fallout. Met people in the real life world that I know from the internets.
I absolutely love that. You've done that a couple times now, right?
I have. Well, this is my my technical 4th foray into West Virginia to check out the Fallout sites, but my 3rd meeting up with random internet people that are perfectly safe.
Yeah, not entirely random. I mean, we do know a few of them. So, no, that's awesome.
Well,
what did you do? What kind of event did you do?
What did we do? So my son and I last year, on a whim, drove up to Helvetia and went to Fasnacht. And it was freezing cold last year. And we met up with Ma Tater and Best Virginian and Penny. And gosh, I met Chipmunk and so many people. And sorry about like Ginger. Oh gosh, I'm missing people. And we met a ton of people, and it was so much fun, even though we froze to death. And we decided, heck, we're going to do this next year. And we, this year, got a house with 10 people. Mm-hmm. And this was the true test, because we put 10 people who barely know each other into a house for a weekend.
This is the true story. True story.
Find out what happens
when people stop being polite
and start getting real.
The real world.
And it worked beautifully. We had a blast. Knight Taylor was there, a Best Virginian, Penny, me, Ma.
A bunch of people just kind of united by a love of Fallout. For those who don't know, a number of these people stream. Some, do YouTube, other stuff, just creators we know in the community who support each other in various things. And Best Virginian is not just a clever nickname. He actually lives there and does tours.
He does. He's
so.
the only local. He's the only local. Everybody else was from, some neighboring states, but not in state. So he's like our guide, to all things West Virginia, hence his name.
So
and we
what
had
did
such
you
a
think
good time.
of Fastnacht? Which robot was your favorite? And are they
Oh
the
my
same in real
gosh,
life?
There's so many good robots. I gotta tell you. I mean, they make a big circle of everybody and they give them their candles. It's really, really cool. And this year I met even more people. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, you got a house together. That's awesome. We want to do that. So this year for next year, we'll get 2 houses for 16 people. And it's going to be basically the Fallout neighborhood because they're like 2 houses on the same driveway. It's going to be wild.
Goodness. Well, for listeners then who are thinking about crashing Fastnacht, sounds like it's going to be an unofficial Fallout meetup even more than ever next year.
Oh, and then there's people
Is it
that
always cold
will be with us that are going to be there too. I can
Mhm.
probably think of like 20 some people that are going to be there. Like we've picked up Fargassier and his wife, Chipmunk and his wife will be there. I know a bunch of other people that are going to come for the first time.
The event itself, what happens?
So during the day, a lot of people just go and hang out and check out the town. They go through the buildings that are open, and everything is, I'm not going to lie to you, I mean, it's like spot on. The detail is amazing. And the people are so nice. And they have some vendors are there. They make the donuts. They make, all this stuff. They have some things for sale. And people just, they have live music. And most of the time you're just hanging out. We ate at the house. I can't think of the name of it now for some reason. But we ate and it was so good. The food was amazing. But they keep it busy. And then in the late afternoon, as it kind of starts to get dark, they'll do the judging for the masks, and the masks are incredible. I've noticed over the past couple of years, there are a lot of Fallout people there. And I know they're really grateful for us coming and for supporting the town because this event has grown exponentially with Fallout and it has really helped support the town. I can see things that they've improved just in between the year that I had been there.
Mhm.
And it brings a lot of money to the community for us to help them help. This community is over 100 years old and the buildings are all original. So it's a lot to maintain.
I love they've really got the donuts and snacks. Now, I didn't know that they judged masks.
They kind of do.
Oh.
Basically, somebody will walk around and hand out a flag to the people with the masks that I guess they like. And I have noticed, and I'm personally not offended by it, but I have noticed that they tend to favor the more traditional and the more homemade type. I mean, all the masks are homemade, sure. But like the more traditional, less Fallout type masks, more the ones that kind of line with the actual story, the actual event, I guess. So I know a couple people were not, they didn't love the fact that they didn't get recognized for their masks and their hard work and everything, which we thought were freaking cool. But it was like, well, these people, this is like their thing. And I've just noticed that they tend to kind of gravitate towards more the
Right. The Fallout fans coming into Fastnacht are, they're there to celebrate along, but they're also kind of interlopers. We got to kind of respect
right.
the
That's kind of the way I
traditions.
look at it. Is like, this isn't, we're not following the tradition other than the fact that it's a mask, and it's just, so it's like completely off the rails as far as what they're used to. So I have no problem with it. So then as it gets dark, they'll take Old Man Winter down. The effigy will be hanging in the gazebo is where they have him. And they'll carry him through town and everybody parades through town. And it's really a lot of people and it's pretty wild. And then they'll go burn him on the bonfire.
Yes. I mean, oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, no, for real. And it's funny though, because like we're the only ones that'll be going, burn him, burn him, burn him, which is like wild that the other people don't do it. We're like, y'all don't do this in real life.
It's going to become tradition. Like that's going to be part of the new tradition that they adopt after a while.
Thing, we do this in the game. We thought it was real, So it's pretty funny. And then we all have a big dance in the community center where, where the ghouls hang out. Not the ghouls, the Scorch, where they hang out. We all go in there and have a square dance, and which Penny's hilarious. The girl has no shame, as you can tell whenever you watch her stream. If you don't, please do. She's hilarious. But she just decided that I'm going to learn how to square dance. And she just grabbed some local and he was like, let me teach you. And she learned how to square dance. God love her. She had the time of her life. It was
Yeah, adopt a square dancer today. I mean, do-si-do left and right. Yeah,
she had so much fun.
We've talked about on the show before that we took
Bring
square
the
dancing in
dish
school. I think
Uh-huh,
you
yep.
did, right, Andrew?
Junior high, yes.
What's
we
that?
Had to.
You did
had
square
to have,
dancing in
Andrew.
school,
You went to school
right?
in Indiana, you had to have.
Not only did I do it in school, but I have extensive square dance and clogging and tap dance. I did for 14 years as a child. I am a national champion tap dancer. I have trophies and pictures and sequin vests to prove it.
I've seen the pictures.
Some of my favorite pictures. You look fantastic in a
I feel
cummerbund.
like you need
I
to
didn't
come to
remember
Fashionat and
there was
show
as
us
much square
off,
dancing now.
show everybody off.
I haven't
because
put
those
tap-
locals are so good.
I haven't put tap dance or tap shoes on for about, I don't know, 30 years. I don't know. Something like that.
Wow.
Uh,
That's impressive.
But yeah, I can ring the dish rag. I can do-si-do.
It's funny, that kind of community dancing, like not just going out and dancing at a club, but actual organized community dancing together with like official moves and turns. You see it in shows.
Right.
And I know some communities still preserve it, but a lot of us don't have that. And it's such a fun activity.
And it's wild because, we've talked to some of the locals and a lot of these people, because there's not much to do in this town. I mean, you're right on the edge of the quiet zone. So like there's like not a lot of internet signals are terrible. So a lot of people move out of town to go elsewhere for work or education or whatever. But they come home for this. Like people come home for this because this is like it's like homecoming. It's like their big thing, and
Right.
it's so much fun. And it's really funny because there were a couple of guys there who were really good dancers. And you could always tell because all these women were all like, I gotta dance with you next. Oh, you next. Me, and it was so funny watching because these guys, they were not getting a break. So Andrew, if you want to come, these guys might appreciate some help with the crowd.
I don't think my wife would appreciate that very much.
She might have fun watching all of this happen because these ladies are not young. They're just living their best lives. But it's a really, really good
That's
time.
nice.
And it's funny that it seems like that it's so late, but considering it's so early, because it's always the Saturday before Fat Tuesday. That's
so
that's
mid to late
always what it is.
February.
Well, this year it's going to be early March, I guess.
Okay.
But this year was like February 9th or February 10th. I know that because it was BV's birthday. So we had a big birthday thing for him at the house and then did the Fashionat the next day. And I mean, it's as we played games. We had such a good time. It was like 10 people living together, like back in college. It was wild.
So these kind of adventures, pulling you away from gaming a little bit, what did you get up to this past week with the adventure you were talking about? Was it the Greenbrier again?
We decided to do a meetup for the Bigfoot festival in Sutton. And I guess last year they had the festival in Sutton, like downtown. So that was neat because you could like go around downtown and see stuff. But this year, because I guess the event has grown so big, they moved it to this park. And it's just a generic park and it's huge. And of course, this year we went, it was like hot as Hades. And so we're wandering around.
Not comfortable for
park.
Bigfoot. He's very hairy.
And so he didn't show. He decided he was going to go cool off.
And you
in a
blame
cave.
him? No air conditioning. Yeah.
Oh, no, we were like, why are we here? He went to cool off in a cave. Mob Tater and I decided we were going to check out the 200 vendors. I think we almost hit all of them and came away with some pretty cool stuff. And then we decided, since we were all there for the weekend, we hit some sites. Like we went to the New River Gorge Bridge. We went and did the Berkeley mining exhibit, which is very cool. Very cool. The whole exhibit. We went on a tour of the mine. It was really neat. We had like the best guide.
love that the mining exhibit is a real thing. Like that little building.
You get to get in a little car and you get to go
Oh.
through the mine and the guy tells you all about it. And the guy that we had, he'd been a miner for like 30 plus years. He'd been in a mine, or no longer than that. Had to have been. He'd been in a mine since he was 5 years old. And he was an old guy. But he had like the best stories.
Did he have a
Yeah.
nice set of excavator power armor?
No, I didn't find one.
Ah,
And they didn't show us one. So I think like this was more like a little family owned mine. It wasn't like a big operation. So it was small time, but still, it was very interesting to see. You know, they have a village set up there, so you can see like a couple of the homes, like how these people lived. They talked about. Oh, I was able to buy script. I own script now.
No way.
Yes, Ray. Where did I put it? Anyway, I'll find it. But I own script. You could buy script because they had like, because they're like coins. So they had like these whole huge books of script that you could buy. So Ma and I bought some script. And they have like the possum lights and the lunch pails. Penny bought herself a clean miner's helmet. And she's like all the rage now. But yeah, it was a real good time. And then we went to the White Spring. I'm sorry, we went to Greenbrier,
Right. The White Spring.
which
Yes,
was
no.
amazing. It was amazing.
I heard they changed the trash cans.
They changed the trash cans. Yes,
How
I was
dare.
taking pictures of everything. I'm like, this is in my camp. This is in my camp. The chairs, check. The bar's different. That's not right.
Mhm.
I don't think it was ever right. Like the mirror, check.
No Raider
ceramics
leaning up against
check.
it, asking for stew, like dissing you.
No, she was not there.
Okay.
I gave her the day off. Could check out the dining room because we were there around dinner time and everybody was going in their formal gowns because you have to dress
is there a
for dinner.
vertibird on the rooftop?
No vertibird. Must have been out. We couldn't even get into the train station, but a train did leave the station while we were there. That was interesting. Never seen a train leave from the station before.
No.
I mean, that's cool.
It was
So-
cool.
Trash cans different. The carpet,
Trash
that
cans
famous
change-
carpet changed a couple years ago. Am I remembering correctly or no?
Well, I don't know because the carpet that I saw was pretty similar.
Okay, then yeah.
It
Well,
was
I'm
pretty
glad.
similar.
People talked about how authentic it
it
was.
is.
And I'm sure as time goes on, it will be less so, but that's just
Maybe because
incredible.
I think like as far as like the fabrics and things go, I think they try. I got a book on it. It was funny. They had a book there. It was like $40, and I was like, let me see what Amazon has. $4. So I got myself a book about the Greenbrier, and I flipped through it, and they do talk a lot about Dorothy Draper, I think her name is, who does the interiors.
From
They
Mad Men?
basically gave her free reign, and she's the one who does like all the fabrics and stuff. She's the one who came up with the very lovely, garish, quite gaudy fabric combinations. But yeah. But yes, the trash cans changed. I was a little disappointed about that.
Still.
it was-
Excellent. It's
it was
very
beautiful.
memorable. Okay, final question on the Greenbrier / White Spring. Did you get into the Enclave bunker?
No, we did not. But you know what? We're talking about going back, maybe in the fall, maybe in the spring. We don't know when. We're talking about taking a girls' trip, talking about taking the train, going to DC, doing Fallout 3, coming back, staying at the White Spring, and doing the bunker escape room.
As time goes on,
They have an
we're getting
escape room in
more
there.
and more Fallout sites. It's wicked exciting, you know?
Can
You
you
should join us sometime. It's a blast.
can you get
Such a
into the
blast.
presidential suite?
No,
God
we couldn't.
damn it!
Not only are the hand print things busted, they removed them altogether.
Sons of bitches.
Not a blasted one. We couldn't find one. No.
No
And
door
trust me,
glitching.
Penny tried.
Did you at least drop a nuke and go harvest ghouls for? you know,
No, the ghouls looked like they
Jeez.
didn't want to be disturbed. They were getting ready for dinner. They had to put on their fancy dress and
well,
we're
we're gonna
off to dinner.
eat all the other guests who came that day.
Yeah. But we did find the golf club and the tennis court
Nice.
and the pool.
Is there a
Pool
putting-
the pool looks amazing. The pool looks so much better than it is in game. It's an infinity pool, so you get this like beautiful like look over the landscape behind. It's really nice.
Cut him a break. There has
Really?
been an apocalypse after all.
But it looked
Ro-
good.
The robots
It
have
looked
all
good.
they can do to keep up, especially
yeah,
on account of
yeah.
all those frogs.
Well, all those robots and things.
Exactly.
They,
How's
they
the-
take real good care of it.
The robot security with it, they didn't hassle you at all or anything.
No, we just told him first we told him that we wanted to go look at the mall, and he said, well, it was closed because like I said, we got there around dinner time because we did Berkeley 1st or Beckley, sorry. And he said, nah, well, I think that's closed. And we were like, oh, that's a bummer. And he said, well, on a slow day, they clear out early. So we're like, oh, so now we know when the slow day is. So that was good.
Mhm.
And then we said, well, we really just want to look around. He was like, oh, that's fine. Just go. We're like, oh, okay. So you don't have to lie to the guy to get in. It was great.
That's brilliant. We're used to it being abandoned anyway. So
Yeah,
that
we're
makes
used to just
perfect
walking
sense.
in. I'm not used to anybody actually like being in the guard shack. I made Ma take a picture. I'm like, take a picture of the guard shack.
So that has been some of your game time recently. But what have you
Yeah.
been up to in game? You said you hit rank 77 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I just did.
That's pretty
And I
solid.
guess
We're
I-
only what, 6 weeks in? 7 weeks in?
I don't know. I want to get it done because I want to get to Starfield. I haven't been in Starfield in ages. I want to get back to that. I haven't
Don't
even
worry,
looked
Ray's
at-
got you covered. Probably.
I know. I keep listening every time he talks about it. I'm like, I want to play. It's just I never have time. Well, when I do, I think about, I should play Starfield. I'm like, no, I got this stupid scoreboard. I gotta get done because I'm not about to miss a scoreboard. Especially this one's got such good stuff on it. It's I love all the Pioneer Scout stuff. I started a Pioneer Scouts camp in the shelter, and I may actually submit it. I'm not sure yet because right now I'm tearing my hair out because I can't find the stupid target, the archery target. I can't find it.
Oh, the
anywhere.
archery target. Okay, in the build
is
menu.
it's not under miscellaneous. It's
You're
not
talking about the new one, right?
yes.
On
And
the
I double
scoreboard.
checked. I'm like, am I just dreaming that I unlocked it? No, I did.
I haven't unlocked it yet, so I actually don't know where it is.
I unlocked it, and I'm like, where the heck is it?
Knowing how weird they
They've
can
got
be,
to fix these menus.
I would say if you can't find it in floor items, which is probably in floor items if you can't find it in miscellaneous.
I looked all
it
up and down
could-
floor items, unless
I
it's
know,
hidden with
but-
something.
Oh, they get hidden. They all hide.
That's
I mean,
what
you
I'm
know how that
wondering.
is. There's
Maybe it's hidden with
650,
something.
700 items in there now.
Right.
It could be in appliances too, because that follows Fallout logic.
It
in the
better
build
not be
menu.
in resources, because then you can't use it in a camp, and then I'll be like, or in a shelter, and then I'm gonna be like, what's the point?
But yeah, that would be awesome. So for those who don't know what she's referencing about the summer camp, it's the whole sleepaway camp contest I mentioned that Bethesda is sponsoring this year, the summer camp contest. And right now, can I sort and view how many there are total? No, I can't see. But last I checked, there were over 140 entries. I have
Wow.
never seen so many entries for a camp contest, so that's very exciting. Usually they're themed camps. They get 20 or 30 of us. So
Yeah.
this is a big one. But
And,
some of them look
and I probably
gorgeous.
won't get around to doing it just because I'm never satisfied with a camp. But the thing that I noticed was I put a ton of tents in there, and I put some cabins in there, and the tower, and all kinds of stuff. I'm not even half budget yet.
And that's the new summer camp shelter.
Mhm.
So it actually has a lake in the middle. Again,
Yep.
for those who haven't unlocked it, these are some of the newest things. And I know
Yes.
a lot of our 76 players are semi-lapsed, maybe doing the score, but maybe not doing as much of the building anymore.
Right.
It's a really cool open
It's
field.
pretty.
It's got a nice little hill. It's got a big old
Mhm.
lake in the middle. There are some places around the edges that fight you for putting items down. But if you, as long as you go near the
too
center,
much trouble.
not too bad.
Not on the
Yeah.
edges. I mean, I just put tents up on the edge because that was around the edge. I just threw the tents up there.
And
That
they
was,
have improved it too. The
where
first
the
week it
campers
was very
stay.
temperamental.
maybe
Yeah.
because I just did this what day? It was just a few days ago because I finished my weeklies and I was like, yeah, let me go look at building this camp. So
But 77 is solid. Andrew, have you started the chore board yet?
Not really. I'm like level 4 or something.
Good on
Was-
you.
was
No,
that-
we'll get to your gameplay, but I'm glad you're still just,
Was
taking
that
it easy.
item you were just describing? Did you say that was a pre-built thing or a shelter underground thing?
the camp
The camp with the pond
we were talking about
and
it was
stuff.
it's a shelter,
It's
Yeah.
under it. Okay.
A
but I
big
used a
outdoor
lot
shelter.
of prefabs in it. I was
You get
kind of
there-
bummed that you can only build 3 of the counselor or the new tent that they gave us. The was it camp counselor tent or whatever. You can only build 3 of those.
You get there with a bus, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
right?
the bus is cool. The bus is very cool. And you can use it for other things. I mean, you can just park it at your camp and make it part of your camp. It doesn't even matter whether it goes to a shelter because it's a bus. And you can walk around in it. I don't know that you can build in it, but you can walk around in it. I did that. Because you still have to hit, whatever your prompt is, because I use an Xbox controller, so it's A. So you still have to hit whatever your prompt is to go somewhere. but you could just walk around in this bus, and it's neat. I'm
That's
like,
super fun.
I don't know. So I have it parked at my camp, like it's been abandoned there at my Meyer camp, and it blends with the environment. Now that we got those new plants, I love those new plants.
That's excellent. And you build some great camps, Don. I'm just, I'm going to say, for if I didn't mention that last time you were on, I just shout you out. We've had a couple of them in some Gato videos for the flash mobs. And like, you just build some really homey, a lot of like, some log cabin type, just very homey camps. Good use of trees and stuff. Really enjoy them.
I've started building smaller so I can build more clutter.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning, I built really big, and now I'm like, no, it's all about, and I use a lot of prefabs too, I think, because it saves so much budget because I'm all about the clutter, making it homey.
And they're really nice these days.
It's funny that you mentioned that because like when I'm playing, like I'll notice like, you get the notification that people are going through your shelters and stuff, and you see that like people are running around at your camp and things like that. And then next thing I know, I'll get a friend request from them. It's like happened to me like half a dozen times in the past couple weeks, and I'm just like, cool.
Wow. Yeah, people want to see your camp again. Maybe they're like, oh, let's see what else she builds. Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm guessing. So that's kind of fun, but that's about all I've had time to do. Really, is
how often do you guys, after you've been to someone's camp, think, oh, that's pretty cool, good job. Do you send them a message ever? Be like, hey, I like your camp. You guys ever do that?
If we had messaging on PC, we probably would.
Oh, yeah, Don's a PC player.
Oh.
But we don't have messaging on PC, so we don't.
Unless
they know how to find you.
In our group, we're so like effusive with, oh, hey, great camp and everything like that. But like for someone who's not like part of our group, like I just sent a message off to someone one time and they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. I spent so much time on this camp and no one has ever said anything. This is so, I was just like,
I think that would be very cool. And I've noticed in the Facebook group a couple times, like somebody will post up a picture of a camp and be like, I don't know who you are, or if you're in this group, but this was so cool. And I think that's pretty neat when people do that.
Yeah. People really want to give kudos for camps. I mean, me being me, obviously, if I really like a camp, I'll send a message because that's just what I do. I want to make sure people know. But
I can't even imagine the camp now that would move you to the point where you'd be like, okay, that's good. It's
not a competition.
I don't know. It makes me happy that she likes my camps because I'm like, that's high praise coming from her.
If you're out there and you're getting an A or a B, if you're getting an A or a B, I'll compliment it. Okay, you don't need to know that it's a B.
Hundreds, if not thousands, of camps at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. But what's interesting with the advent of all the new players coming in, the fact that we've tripled the general player base. Since the show came out.
Are you kidding me? Tripled?
There are a lot. Yeah, like we talked about. I mean, it has dropped. Talk about how long it was sustained.
I forgot about it.
It did sustain a bit, but it slowed. Yeah. But you're finding a lot more floating boxes in bad camps again.
Yeah.
I was talking.
Big empty boxes, yeah.
Yeah. It's finding a really great camp from a veteran player is a little more rare than it was, But
I saw one today. Somebody was building at the dam outside of Harper's Ferry. And he was in the process of building it, but I could tell, like, just in the detail that he had put into the structure, I was like, this is going to be a good camp. I was like, I probably should have sent him a friend request so I could come back and check it out, but I didn't really think about it. But it was like, this is going to be a good camp, just because I could tell, like, the time that he took in the structure was a lot for building there, right up against that dam, and it just looked perfect. It looked like it had always been there. It was good.
Yeah,
so if you're
love
listening,
it when it just looks like part of the part of the landscape. That's great.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to do because not all those things are forgiving, and they may not have collision. So it's like, well, you're gonna have big gaps, and that's never good.
Well, awesome. Thank you, Don. Appreciate that. Cool.
Hey, Jess, how about you? What did you be getting into recently?
My gameplay is a little light too, but not because I was gallivanting off in West Virginia. I've been gallivanting up in the stars, not Starfield. Been on a real watching Star Trek kick the last couple weeks. I think I might have mentioned last week.
Curveball.
But
I assume Starfield. Nice.
of course you did. Yeah, no, only a little Starfield. I don't know. I just wanted a show, and I think I mentioned I started watching Star Trek DS9. I'm halfway through the second season already in 2 weeks, so I've been watching
Nice.
a bit of that.
And those
But-
those halfway through season 2 or whatever, it's like those were the days when TV shows had like 24 to 39 episodes a season, you know.
20 to 25
Right?
usually. Yeah. I think it was 20 the first season or so, and like 24 the second. But yeah, generally speaking. But no, I'm obviously I'm playing plenty of games, but it's just been a variety and not as much Fallout as usual. So no regular Fallout game besides 76 this past week. 76, I just jumped in and did the dailies once and took a few photos. I'm going to do what I did a week and a half ago again, where I plan on doing a Monday, Tuesday intensive, popping that score booster, getting in there, doing all the weeklies on Monday, all the weeklies on Tuesday, and all that, and just kind of, a score intensive. So that's my plan for that. Maybe I'll get some more in this weekend, but this past weekend I didn't. Besides watching TV and maybe joining friends for a little bit of Fallout, I've been playing a lot of smaller games again. Continuing with what I mentioned last week, my Kingdom Rush Tower Defense continues. I'm on the third one in the series now, and I beat that this week. So yeah, 3 games down in 2 weeks. That's been a lot of fun. Crash Team Racing, I'm playing, every day, a couple of courses, beating them in adventure. And I checked out Little Kitty Big City, which, I won't talk about it too long, not Fallout related, but it's a fun little game where you play a cat and, a little open world cat and slowly unlocking areas, exploring, finding things.
That game
And
is
the great thing-
intensely fun. That game is intensely fun. I love it.
Did you
It sounds
did you play some of
fun.
it? Did you play it, Andrew?
Yeah, Mo beat it in 2 days. he
Oh.
beelined the whole thing. He loved it.
Aw.
That's awesome. It says I'm like 36% done, so I'm getting there. But I'm using it as my Game Pass achievement game. So for rewards, there's each day to get reward points. You got to play a Game Pass game and get a Game Pass achievement. Well, obviously, I'm not popping achievements in any of the Fallout games right now. So
Can't tell you the last time I did.
right, and the other games I'm playing aren't on Game Pass. So I'm like, I have to pick a game on Game Pass that I can get an achievement a night with only playing an hour or so. And Little Kitty totally fit that. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. So yeah, playing all that stuff and watching the TV and all that, generally speaking. That's pretty much it for my gameplay. I did post my turkey mount photo, where I managed to ride one of the new turkeys in the game, Thrasher. It makes a great mount. It bobbles a bit, but the feathers are cushiony, more than you'd think. That's about it, Andrew. Yeah, I don't have much gameplay and no fantastic adventures.
I'm kind of interested in Deep Space Nine. I'm not a Star Trek enthusiast by any stretch, but of all the series that I did watch, that's the one I watched the most of. And then sometimes when I tell people that, they're like, that one?
Yeah, I would say Deep Space Nine is quite often, for most people, their favorite or second favorite. Like, I think it's in most people's top.
Oh,
or three.
okay. I kind of get the impression that's like, oh, if you don't like Patrick Stewart or who was Kirk? I forget his name.
Shatner?
Shatner,
Yeah.
If you don't like Patrick Stewart or Shatner, then
Yeah,
you're not a
TNG
real
is
Trek
probably
fan.
the most popular favorite these days, Next Generation.
Yeah.
But DS9 is right up there. And probably over original series, I would think, if there was a poll. Not that people want to pick between their children. It's like New Vegas, Fallout 3, Fallout 4. We've done enough polls on that. We get the gist, okay? So Next Generation might be the New Vegas of the series. But DS9 is probably Fallout 4.
Are the shows just different fleets in the same time frame, or are they drastically different eras?
Oh, so yes, they are relatively different eras. The majority of newer shows are in a similar time frame, always moving forward until Discovery. So original series was, gosh, okay, please don't check me, Trekkies, like 2300s, and then coming up on Next Generation, that was obviously a generation ahead, like 80 years in the future or something. And then after Next Gen, DS9 takes place a couple years into Next Gen, Voyager takes place a few more years after Next Gen, but they're all in kind of a 10 to 15 year period. And then the movies from Next Generation stuff jumped forward a little bit further, as did the Star Trek Online video game. And then the two most recent shows, so Enterprise that came out in the mid 2000s was the generation before original series. So it was like some of the first Explorers, the first Enterprise, and all that. And then Discovery, which there are a bunch of shows on Paramount now. You've got Lower Decks, you've got Strange New Worlds, you've got some great stuff happening that I haven't all caught up with yet.
You know what? I heard about Lower Deck, and I was like, oh, that sounds very intriguing. Of all the new ones I've heard about, I was like, I might check that out. That
it's actually really, cool. It's pretty funny. The little bit that I've seen has been quite funny. And Strange New Worlds is a spinoff with Captain Pike, who people who know original series, Captain Pike had the Enterprise
pre-Shatner, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he's in the pilot. And so he also shows up in Discovery. So Discovery takes place 10 years before, and that's the most recent long show, or it was until Strange New Worlds.
I think they referred to that character in one of the J.J. Abrams movies, too. I could be wrong, but...
Yeah, no, they definitely did. Yep, Kirk was actually brought on board by Pike, because that was an alternate universe, but same characters.
Yeah. Weird.
So, good time.
Sorry to get off on the Star Trek tangent. I'm just always mildly on the outskirts of people who love Star Trek, and always mildly interested, but haven't really ever gotten sucked in.
Yeah, well, I certainly have.
I feel like I should.
Growing up, I think I've mentioned this before. Growing up in like the 80s, Mom took me into the Star Trek fan club, and I was even part of the Star Trek fan club around the time TNG started coming out and all of that. And
that's awesome.
Really, it's just I've loved the show since I was a kid, more than Star Wars.
I feel the same about Doctor Who as well. Like all my friends who love sci-fi can't believe that I don't love Doctor Who.
I didn't get into that until later, even though it's obviously my favorite, as
I didn't have the goddamn BBC growing up. Come on.
Yeah, I saw a few episodes
probably
on
PBS or something, right? Yeah.
I'm like, what is this rickety ass stuff on my screen? I have a color television. I don't need to watch this black and white stuff. What's going on? So yeah. I've become more cultured. I got better.
We all have.
I got better. All right. Thank you, Jess. Hey, Ray, you've been relatively quiet this evening, sir. What have you been getting into recently, bud?
I wrapped up the new content in Fallout 4. Still tried to get that knocked out before Fallout London pops.
Do we know when that is specifically now?
I haven't seen a date. I keep checking my GOG, and it hasn't popped up yet. I know that it's, soon.
I've got some news in the Iguana bits, the update, but there's no date yet. So
yeah. So that was pretty interesting. So they added a quest in that first section of Saugus Ironworks. So before you go see Slag, you've got that section that you have to go through, and there's a little mini quest tucked inside there.
Is that the Pyromaniac one that pops with the new weapons thing? Okay.
No, Pyromaniac is a standalone location.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking the Forged. Is the Forged at Saugus? No, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so all the people involved in this quest are all forged.
Nice. But you said all the main stuff was like just power armor and big weapon skins, basically, right?
Yeah, which is what this one is too.
Okay.
So you get a
why break a pattern?
Get a set of special Raider power armor and a special flamer. So,
you ever have fun with those?
No.
Just shits and giggles, run around with a flamer.
They've become so popular in 76, but I never did prior either. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've never really gotten into the big guns.
No.
Yeah, they're so hard to sneak with. They keep, rattling and
you try
banging
to
the ground.
They make a
When
lot of
you're-
noise, yeah.
Just want to get assigned that as a roundtable role or something.
You
know,
you
that
have
crap.
twice, right, Andrew?
Yeah.
You've been assigned it in both Fallout 4
Yeah.
and 76.
Try to make it work, but then fucking Curie walks in front of you in a hallway with a mini nuke, and it's all right in your face. So
Yeah,
it's tough. It's tough.
big
it's a-
guns on survival would be the worst.
Hard knock life. Oh god,
that's
that
awesome
would be
that
bad. Oof.
You wrapped up all the new stuff.
Yeah, and when you finish up with the Enclave quest, it gives you 3 little Radiant quests to go take out some Enclave camps that they're forward bases. So you go take those out, and then you get these new magazines called the Enclave Entrenchment Manuals.
Oh, I thought you meant weapon magazines.
That's what I
Okay.
thought too. I was like, neat.
And so one of them lets you build Enclave turrets in your camp. Another one gives you Enclave paint and something else. So that's a new little addition for your camp stuff. That's about all I've done in Fallout 4. In Starfield, I was doing a bunch of random characters, and I'm playing along, and all of a sudden I get this message that I was running out of room in my autosaves. I'm like, huh, that's weird.
In Starfield?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay, well, I guess I've got to go, clean up some old unused characters. And I came across one of my old characters that had, most of them were, 4 or 5 autosaves at the most. But this one had 100.
No. Wow. Were they all
It's
close together too? Because the game's only supposed to keep
about
3
every
or 4.
30
but
seconds.
People have had that duplicating issue,
What
so
was
that's kind of like what Bob was
happening?
experiencing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, okay, this is what Bob was running into. The advantage is that mine's on PC, so I've got a lot more storage space for this stuff. But it was a character that I was playing like 4 or 5 months ago, and never realized at the time that I was that this was popping up, and so got that all cleaned up, which which let me do a bunch more random alt start characters.
Excellent. You got to make room for more. I mean, that is
Later.
one of the things. Even on PC, there is a limit to how many saves you can have, right? The autosaves it tracks and all that.
Definitely.
I tried out. So last week I talked about trying out the Dark Star manufacturing mod, and so I've been playing around with that some more. But now I have loaded up the Dark Star Astrodynamics, which is shipbuilding stuff. And unfortunately, the Dark Star stuff is really meant for New Game Plus.
Mhm.
Stuff unlocks at very high levels.
You need to have 3 or 4 piloting, 3 or 4 engineering things, stuff
Well,
like that.
but also you've got to be, level 100.
Oh, wow, that's no good.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, because
so-
Starfield isn't designed for that unless you're New Game Plusing a lot. Most people will never get there.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing that watching some of his streams and stuff, he was dissatisfied with what you ran into after you did New Game Plus a few times, and so he came up with mods that were remedies for that, so that you can continue to advance your character to very high levels and not get stuck behind, low end equipment with your high end character.
Hmm.
So
Something to strive for. No, that makes sense. That's a good thing to add for mods. While I don't love the idea of locking it later, giving people something to actually earn and engage with. I mean, maybe there's an Obsidian Knight or a Black Knight. Who's the guy in Skyrim that happens at level 80?
Shoot,
Ebony.
Warrior.
Ebony Warrior. Thank you. I can remember what it's called. But maybe there's one of those we just haven't found yet. But yeah, it does feel like, after you've seen the game, you've seen the game. We're still finding new things all the time, and they're adding things, and certainly mods are. But it would be nice to have something to strive for at higher levels. So I totally get that.
Yeah. So in Skyrim, I've been playing, my sneak destruction, dagger assassin. But I'd kind of gotten that one as far as I wanted to, and so I started looking around for something else. And there's a YouTuber, Karn114, that I follow, and he had a shaman which uses the ritual stone, and so
It's
I
the
immediately
best.
thought of Andrew.
So fun. If you haven't used it, make it this, the central theme of one of your playthroughs. You'll never have a better time getting through a doorway.
So, the way that he uses it is, so this is a stealth character. And so I'm still sneaking around, killing people. But then when you get to the boss and you've got all of these, souls waiting to be unleashed, you walk into the boss, which puts you in combat. And as soon as you go into combat, all of these stored up, minions, pop in and start fighting for you.
That's amazing. They're like for the horde and everybody like attacking. That's awesome.
So that's been kind of fun. But then I was kind of going along and I started thinking about it. So, building a shaman character is really kind of a role play cheat. So whenever you try to really role play in any of these games that you've played, for thousands of hours, you're going to do things because that they're things you need to do, not that your character would know that they're things you need to do.
Right. You start,
and so you have to
that.
stop and think, okay, I can't really do that because there's no way this character would know, that is going to happen. But with the shaman, so they commune with the spirits, and the spirits tell them things. So the spirit can tell them anything you want.
That's your justification.
Yeah, they commune with the spirits, aka they commune with the wiki. Good job.
There you go.
Just
read a thing that you might want to know about.
Yeah, that kind of struck me as I was playing along, and but it's been a pretty fun build. It's not easy to do. It's a lot harder than you think to stay out of combat until the end of a dungeon. So
imagine you've been getting you and the crew, a lot of inspiration from different YouTubers and their creative builds lately. That's a really neat idea,
Yeah, well, when you start as many characters as I do all the time, you kind of exhaust your personal, imagination.
Even as a very inspired person, yes.
So it's nice to have, to kind of gather, other people's ideas and try them out. So that's, I spend a lot of time doing that. And then in No Man's Sky, we got a huge update. So we got a full point update. It's called World. And
it dropped. Nice.
Yeah. We still haven't gotten the expedition yet, but this is freaking
so cool.
amazing.
It's so cool. Andrew, we were speculating when he mentioned the emoji a week or two ago
Mm-hmm.
about what it could be. It is way cooler than expected. It's really fleshing out the worlds. I mean, obviously Ray can describe it way better, but it's like they took the technology of Light No Fire and what they're using to, create really dynamic world and bringing that into No Man's Sky. So everything is like, what is it, Ray? Like the clouds are cloudier, the sun is sunnier, the bushes are bushier. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's very alive.
Yeah, the water now has, waves that are, interacting with the weather systems on the planet. So
Waterier.
when you have a storm, the waves, start building up, and the deeper the water is, the bigger the waves get. The shallower the water is, the less the waves are.
The deeper the water, the bigger the wave. Oh, that's awesome.
So we did record a new episode of BBC, so we'll get that out fairly soon with our initial experience. So it had only been out for a day before we recorded. So
I've only
we haven't
seen
spent a
video so
bunch.
far, but it's enough to make a girl want to get in and start taking pictures. The world looks so good. I mean, okay.
It looked good before.
Yeah, forgive me for saying this because I always love the colors and the style. It's very, very pulp. But it's almost like they brought the world up to the Starfield level. Like, in my way of thinking, am I totally wrong about that? Or is it even like better than that? Or what are we looking at?
Well, you can swim under the water.
Rude. That's not possible. We know that that's not physically possible, breaking the laws of physics.
Right.
Yeah, that's one of the funniest
Not a
things
thing.
in Creation 2, the Starfield engine. Obviously, when they get to, Elder Scrolls 6, you'll be able to get under the water and they'll add that whole thing, but they didn't program it into the new engine yet when the Starfield came out. Hilarious.
You're going to want to swim in the water. That's just silly.
Yeah. You might get eaten by a chasm bass.
Exactly.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. I saw someone, they were modding Neon and they've added too many Neon mods in there and the floors disappeared. And I don't know if you saw this clip, Ray. It was going around Twitter like 2 weeks ago. But all the NPCs were spawning and immediately falling into the water. It was just like a little hallelujah, it's raining men of NPCs coming in, walking and immediately falling down. Ah!
Way people's robot, their Protectron, Collectron thingies do when they build on cliffs.
Yes, exactly like that.
Boom.
Goodness, poor kids. Oh, I feel bad for Sophia at my camp too. She loves to sit on the edge and then she just kind of pops down the cliff. It's not far. She's fine, but yeah.
Mine always want to walk around because I always build on water. So mine always want to walk around in the water. They'll be like chest deep in water and they're like talking to me. And I'm like, what are you doing in there?
Yeah, maybe change your outfit first. Sophia loves
Right.
the hot tub at my camp, which I'm always down with that. But here's the problem. I don't know if it's me. Actually, I mean, technically it's the way the companions are programmed in that when you sit or try to use something, they will stop using it to allow you to use it. But the hot tub has room for two. But every time I get in the hot tub, Sophia gets out and I'm like, Sophia, is it me? Why are you doing this?
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
time I try to sit with her.
Right. Because I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that'd make a cute picture. The two of us sitting in the hot. No, I got to go.
Sorry, Ray. Back to No Man's Sky. I
That's
don't.
quite all right.
Are there hot tubs in No Man's Sky?
No.
There should be.
Maybe. Jinx, you owe me Nicola.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there might be, but since they're of no use to me, I don't build them. So there's a lot of stuff
Fair enough.
in the game, decorations and crap that I never mess with because they don't have any utility. If you don't perform a function, you're not getting at my camp.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Practical.
Yeah.
Practical and useful.
So, but yeah, so that's been keeping me hopping.
I can't wait to hear
And
more about that.
I've been feeling the draw of Cyberpunk.
Oh.
I
why?
never finished up Phantom Liberty. But the game has changed so much since the last time I played. I'm a little bit afraid. Once I get into that, that's going to be all I do all the time.
It has been previously. Like, there was a time when you're playing Cyberpunk and that was
Yeah.
the vast majority of what you did for a couple of months, right? Just like you've been with Starfield for a
With
little
Starfield,
while. So,
Yeah. So I was kind of surprised how little time I've got in Starfield. So my counter is only at 1,400 hours,
Really? Okay, yeah, I would
which
have
seemed
guessed.
a little light. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have guessed you were closer to 1800 or 2000. I mean, that's still like, 5 times most people, probably.
I
But
was gonna say
the
mine
a-
is like way less.
the average Starfield player count, it's funny when it was mentioned. I think it was in the interview with Mr. Matty Plays when Todd was talking, but it was around that time period, if not in that interview. And it was mentioned that the average time played per Starfield player is around 70 hours, which you compare that to
Really?
most any other game. Like so many games, people jump in, they'll play for,
Yeah.
5 hours and dip. And the way people talk about Starfield, you're like, oh, a lot of people played maybe 10 hours and dipped. But that's balanced out by Ray single-handedly. No, but a lot of
Maybe.
us, because there's also the whole complaint, like how can a lot of these people on Steam leaving reviews, occasionally negative, being like, yeah, I don't know, didn't really like it, blah, blah, 150 hours on record. And that's really seems to be the way that a lot of people are still investing the time. It's like Skyrim that way, that you play and play and play. I'm over 500 hours.
I
But
have
nowhere near you, Ray, obviously.
266 in, but I haven't played since January 18th.
Wow, I haven't played a lot since I went Starborn at the beginning of February. I mean,
Haven't gone Starborn yet.
I probably played another 50, 60 hours since then, but like compared to
haven't
before,
gone
that's
Star-
not
I
that
haven't
much.
decided if I want to go Starborn or not. I probably will
I
eventually.
backed out. I did, and then I backed away.
Really?
That's for my next playthrough. Mhm.
Yeah. But I mean, I can almost guarantee that I wouldn't be playing Starfield now if it wasn't for mods,
Mhm.
Right. Well, they've done so
Um,
much.
because yeah, they've they make so many things better in the game that that it really has I've gotten to where I just can't even imagine. I still see YouTubers and stuff like that are playing vanilla. And I mean, just the fact that I mean, the vanilla menus, just like,
Right.
how do you use that? Once you've used Star UI,
Yeah, Will says that too.
it's just, it's impossible to imagine not. So
So
even,
we are
even with it broken, it's still, much, much better than vanilla.
we know mods help. Well,
Somebody could mod 76 camp menus.
the number of new mods coming out has slowed down a little bit the last week. If you remember when we checked in mid-June, there were about 600 some. We checked a week or two ago, and there were just about 1,200. There are now 1,273. So we've only added about 80 to 100 mods in the last week, which is a ton when you think about it. But yeah, still growing. That new mod Jerry was talking about, and I think a few other people were. What was it called? Like Batten Shipwrecks or something? Did you try that one?
No. Mm-mm.
It looks really good. It adds 12 new crashed ships, points of interest to discover. Like stuff like that just really add to the game. Because a lot of people's, one of their primary complaints are the points of interest. If, the random procedural ones, if they use those. And adding 12 more shipwrecks to find, I mean, that alone, that's just so cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, mods keep you playing in Starfield, just like they do in Skyrim. I mean, would you play anywhere near as much Skyrim if it wasn't for alternate start?
Yeah, I mean, alternate start. I mean, it is helpful that it makes it easier to avoid dragons altogether. But you can still do that with vanilla start. Actually, this last character that I started, the shaman, I started with vanilla start. And one of the things that I've noticed about the alternate start in Starfield is that you're starting out with so much less stuff than you do, if you go through the vanilla start, because you get more resources, you get more, loot from the pirates that you attack at the Crete facility,
Right.
and at Vectera, And, so when I get to the lodge for the first time, I've got a lot more money and, a lot better stuff. And so, now it's quickly overcome, when you do an alt start, it doesn't take long to go, gather up stuff, but
Right, especially with your system. But it is a change.
Yeah, it is just something different.
Very cool. And obviously you can play Vanilla Fallout 4 because you have been for the last month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still prefer with mods, I'm sure.
Yeah, it doesn't look as good.
Is it like a refreshing change? Like it's a new, different game almost, kind of? Because
no.
It does look like a new game.
Not like it's
like a
welcome,
crappy
but
old game.
Like going back to your high school and realizing the gym wasn't that great after all.
Prettier or anything. I said different,
Yeah, it's kind of like when you went from Fallout 4 to Fallout 3.
Well,
so my modded color was
Fallout
like
3, so
unmodded it was Fallout or New Vegas, either one. So yeah, it's just a crappy old game now.
Some people would call that an improvement.
Crappy, Ray. That's not nice.
I mean, if you play on PC and you can't be an elite, what can you be?
A coucher for life.
Yeah, how was your Windows today, people?
Sorry,
earlier
burn.
What was the whole CloudStrike issue? Sorry for anybody affected. I know there were some serious complications.
Sorry if you were trying to
works,
fly today and are stranded in an airport.
A lot of people in the medical profession or adjacent had a lot of trouble for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, thankfully I was fine.
I had no issues.
Yeah, we were good too.
I didn't even notice at work all day, and someone mentioned it. I was like, "What are you talking about?" So, yay.
Yeah,
we had any trouble.
I follow a lot of IT security people, and so I saw all the memes before I saw the actual.
Yeah, all the funny blue screens. Yeah.
So
one of my buddies is a IT support guy, and he posted on his Facebook page, "This is how you fix it." I guess he got tired of getting called by everybody and their brother.
Good to know. I mean, I heard that the quickest fix for a lot of people were simply restarting multiple times until it could actually have a chance to pick up the update before it crashed. I'm like, really? That's the best solution because they pushed something. CloudStrike pushed something or whatever. But I know that's not this show. Any other gameplay, Ray? Or
I think the funniest one I saw was a guy posted a picture of himself at his first day on the job at CloudStrike and said they sent me home early.
Oh, yeah. We have the correction. It's CrowdStrike, not CloudStrike. Sorry. CrowdStrike.
But it was a cloud issue. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Made sense.
and the crowd went on strike because they were unhappy.
Yeah. So that was it for gameplay.
And they will definitely be rebranding the company name after this. So
I would wonder, yeah. Were a lot of memes about somebody's first day.
Yeah, rough. Bad mistake. All right, thank you, Ray. Let's see, my gameplay. Haven't been doing anything too in-depth. I didn't really get back into Zelda this week or anything. I think for the most part, I was doing some Shelter. I had some other accident. I was like in the 170s last week. I'm down to 168 now. I loaded today, and I had a score of F for my happiness, so I don't know what the hell is going on. My Shelter's falling apart.
You're just leaving all those dead bodies laying around.
It must be that. It has to be that.
Bodies rotting in corners.
I gotta go through and clean up all these dead people, I guess. I don't like that very much.
They don't like the smell.
And I actually
Soylent Green and like it.
I had to reinstall the firewall because I was losing too many people via scorpions and fires and everything spreading. So I had to tear out some storage space and built another firewall back in there. Helps a lot with helping stifle those fires.
This is your survival vault still, right?
Yes, yeah, that's the
So-
one I play the most.
It's probably never been as necessary as it is in this vault, so that makes
Oh
sense.
no, absolutely not. It does not matter in other vaults because you can just revive everyone.
Mhm.
So that's pretty much my Fallout play. Mo and I have been playing lots of games, though. We've played we got Mario Wonder last weekend.
Oh, you did
And-
jump in. Nice.
Yeah, and we've been playing that like all week, and we're basically beat it today and opened up the special level or special world. So we've got a bunch of new levels to play, but that's, we're getting near the end of it. He just loves to fucking tear through games.
Remember those days.
But I feel like I'm at the point where I kind of like to luxuriate in the experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Did I rush through Starfield? I did rush through Starfield, sort of.
Yeah, it depends on the game. I mean, I love a good 5 to 10 hour like deep dive. Like this is all I'm playing for 3 days, and then I'm done. So I'm with Mo on that.
Yeah.
But obviously, longer games luxuriate in.
But we've been hammering the Mario Wonder, and we're playing lots of Mario Maker 2 and trying to recreate like Mario Wonder worlds using the old stuff. He
Ooh,
has
cool.
lots of fun with that. Also been playing lots of Fallout 2. I'm still very early in the game. Like, you leave the Arroyo Temple, and then the very first task you have to do is like to go to the next town over and talk to Trader Vic. And I'm now just looking for Trader Vic. I showed up at Vic's, and he's not in there, so I need to go figure out where the fuck Trader Vic is.
Saw you sharing some pictures of your Fallout 2 gameplay.
Yeah.
In
Did
our
you like my
Facebook group?
Did you like my character design? Did you enjoy the character creator face pick all the facial features and the special hairdo I chose and the
Very cool. I thought he
the
looked
scars,
great.
the scars and the dirt and the tattoo on the neck. That's all just really nice. Really nice work.
He is, of course. This is a low poly imagination happening, but but you look very magnificent holding your pixelated spear there.
Spear is the only weapon I've found so
I can
far.
tell you've got black hair.
That's a good question. Does everyone I didn't have any control over that, right? Is there one for male and one for female?
Yeah, you were asking the wrong people. As everyone knows, Fallout 2 is our blind spot. And the fact that you're the first of us to play it, finally, even though all three of us have it installed, I think. I assume Ray still does.
I could not tell a difference between 1 and 2 so far. They look like exactly the same game.
You have it installed, Don?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, four of us then. Awesome.
Installed. Has it been opened? No.
We got to do it. We got to do it.
Did you play 1, Dawn?
I have not played 1, no.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, it's the style of game. I'm more of a first person because I want to be immersed in it.
These are the kind of
This
games.
isn't even third person. This is like.
These are the kind of
I
games
don't
my
know.
brother and I like to play in the 80s and 90s, and I sent him a picture of that, and he's like, "Whoa, that looks awesome."
If I
and
play
he was
it for a while,
serious,
I might get used to it again, but
That's what happened with me. Like I enjoy isometric games, but the controls for Fallout are different than most isometrics I've played, even from the time
drives
period.
me nuts that it's
But-
set up on a Q*bert grid. You know what I mean? Where he runs side to side to side to side to side to
Yeah.
side to side instead of straight down. I'm like,
It's a-
what the
it's a
fuck are
hex
you
grid.
doing?
Hubert grid. Yeah. But I mean I got in with Fallout 1, so probably will Fallout 2. We gotta buckle down and play Fallout 2. We have to. I'm glad you are, Andrew.
I already buckled,
you're-
man.
with
You're a trendsetter. You
I
got everybody
done
playing Fallout
buckled.
Shelter, so
Yeah, well, those
you,
are
you made Fallout Shelter
okay. We can
popular
only
again.
if we're gonna do fresh roundtables, all we can do is 2 tactics and shelter. That's basically what we're down to now.
it's true.
I even have tactics because my son loves it.
I got
so
it on
much.
good old games.
Yeah.
I think it was $1.19 or something.
Yeah, it was some crazy special. Yeah, Gotta love Steam sales.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing gameplay.
Awesome.
Did I play anything else? I don't know. I think Fallout 2 might have been really the depth of my gameplay. Let's see if I wrote anything else down. 1 or 2.
Sounds like
Two,
you
maybe
and
a couple.
May.
Nope, that was it.
You and Mo are really enjoying, Mario Wonder, Mario Maker, though. Like, that's been a lot of it.
Yeah, and he's really, just grilling me on the Mario lore and history and what my favorite games were and what the best level and the music. And he really is getting into it. You know what I mean? Like
That's
I can
cool.
tell he's watching lots of YouTube videos and people doing analysis upon like these old Mario games and such. And I don't know, it's like, he's like telling me that Jumpman from the original Donkey Kong game was Mario's grandfather, and he's like, he's just,
Oh my
he's got all these things like figured out from watching all these YouTube videos and theories and everything like that, and it's like, yeah, so he's
Ew.
easily surpassing my knowledge of games from my era, so it's funny.
Gotta love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You found ROUSs too. I didn't see that until just now.
Oh, yeah. I was just in a bar and I was just asking, what's going on around town or whatever, you know how you do. And they're like, well, there's lots of crazy stuff. There's this thing going off to the east, this thing going off to the west, and this thing going off to the south. And like one of the things was, and there are rodents of unusual size. I was like, rodents? That's great.
I get
So
that
funny.
reference.
I get that one.
It's awesome. I don't think they exist. Well, you just found
Oh,
out.
I don't believe they exist.
That is
Beautiful.
awesome.
Yeah,
Well, that's
no.
some great gameplay.
Yeah, so that's all I got up to, really. What else we got? What's going on? Feedback and gameplay from the group. Yeah, let's get into those
so
guys.
I thought, since we hadn't gotten any emails, we're not really in a feedback loop right now with a roundtable, that I would kind of pull up some of the feedback or comments we've had in Facebook, or just highlight a couple on Facebook or in the Discord. And on Facebook right now, I wanted to pull up one from Tyrell talking about continuing his Fallout 4 survival play, because yes, we did that roundtable last year, but he doesn't have a lot of time to play. So I just wanted to read his kind of feedback in the group on that as though it was sent in as a letter. So he goes on to say, so I'm still playing my Fallout 4 survival playthrough. I've been on since the beginning of the year. I don't have a lot of free time to play lately, and I'm nearing level 50. I've started only taking whichever 2 weapons I have the most ammo for me whenever I leave on new quests. That's cool. That makes sense, because as we know, ammo, scarce and important. And carry weight, very important in survival mode. So he says, I've learned that if you really want good, long, drawn-out firefights, take lightly modded or basic weapons. I've had some of the best and most enjoyable fights I've had in the game in a long time. Just got into a fight with gunners at Hub City Auto Wreckers using nothing but a default deliverer and a marksman's auto pipe rifle. Oh my goodness, Hub City. Yeah, that's a good fight in the first place. And deliverer, I love it, but if it's not heavily modded and an auto pipe rifle, that would be different. So he says, I ran out of ammo and started using what I could find off downed enemies. Took a few attempts and an hour to clear it, but it was a blast. So there's some advice from Tyrell Diltz. He mentions that he's still playing, continuing his survival playthrough. He's actually still posting it on YouTube too, occasionally, as Gaming Gearhead. He's the one who plays under Gaming Gearhead. And just so you know, Tyrell, I occasionally put one on and watch. I don't watch them all, of course, with the Let's Play, but fun to listen to sometimes, see what
That's
you're up to
awesome.
in Fallout 4. So that's great.
I think that's kind of a great style of playthrough, and that's kind of an extreme challenge. Taking his one step further, if you just left everything at camp every time you went home, and each time you go out, you had to use the implements of the people you killed. Like the first person you'd have to sneak up on and like choke to death, or so beat with your fists or whatever. But then you take their weapon, and it's like that person who traded a paper clip and eventually they got a house out of it. You keep trading up each time and eventually get a good weapon, right? God, that's so tough to play. And he's doing a survival mode. I don't think I caught that the first time. That makes it fucking impossible. He's using a pipe rifle in survival mode. Good fucking Lord.
Kind of real life, though. You know, I mean, if you run out of ammo, what are you going to do? You're going to reach for the next thing that you can get your hands on.
Sometimes we don't have the best stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why it's good to be good at melee.
Exactly. You know,
Yes, sir.
you're never going to run out of ammo with your spiked bat.
I'm glad that weapons don't deteriorate anymore in Fallout 4.
So I am going back. Thank you so much, Tyrell, for that comment, by the way. We get lots of them on Facebook and in the Discord, so I just thought that would be kind of fun to shout people out and what they are up to. The other thing I wanted to mention was Bob Carroll mentioned this 2 weeks ago. But Bob, when we were talking about Vault Talk, he pointed out a cool Easter egg that we had missed when talking through the episodes. This is regarding, in episode 4, the ghoul, he falls asleep in the Super Duper Mart. Well, and then 2 episodes later, he's come in and taken by the government. And I had mentioned, how those guys, I called them, the Duke boys, because they reminded me they're a bit Dukes of Hazzard coming in there. And they bring him back to meet, the president there at their base. Okay, because there's currently, there's a power vacuum. There's no government, and they're trying to set it up. Well, the president, as it were, knows the ghoul, and his name was Sorrel Booker. Okay, so this is all stuff that we mentioned and we knew. Well, Bob piped up and he said, "Did you know Sorrel Booker? It's funny you called him the Duke Boys." Because that is a Dukes of Hazzard reference. The actor who played Boss Hogg is named Sorrel Book. And they made this Boss Hogg president character that these guys bring him back to, Sorrel Booker. So what a cool reference. I thought that was really neat.
Kind of reminded me of a Boss Hogg type character. Anyway, the way he talked and the way his mannerisms were is what he reminded me of.
Yeah, they really made him, like a bit good old boy, California style,
sure.
but good old boy.
And
so,
in a wrong time and place, but yeah.
I just thought that was a neat reference. So thank you, Bob, for pointing that out.
It really is.
Allusion to the late actor Sorrel Book, who famously played Jefferson Davis Hogg, aka Boss Hogg, from 1979 to 1985 on the Dukes of Hazzard TV series. Cool stuff.
Very good.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. And always appreciate any of your feedback, whether you send it in or just kind of, have discussions on the Discord.
You ever slid across the hood of a car?
I have
not gracefully.
Yeah, I was going to say, not like in my mind, I would, it never works out
hopped
that
in
way.
the window to gun it out of the driveway.
Not successfully.
Gotta get back to our roots, the good old boys. All right. So what else?
Never
we
jumped
got
over a
into
creek either.
here?
So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that is good. I'm sure there's other pop culture references in there that I'm not aware of. You know what I mean? Like, you and Ray or Will, between the three of you, I assume that we would probably get just about everything, but maybe not.
Tried to catch a lot, but they're sneaky, they're sly.
Yeah. I think they did slide a lot in there.
Well, I mean, especially if there was like references to like old school shit like Flash Gordon or whatever. Like I probably wouldn't get that stuff. You know what I mean?
And the thing about TV writers, or Hollywood TV and film writers in general, is that they all tend to be a fan of the cinema and TV. Like if there is one group of people, well, I mean, to be fair, gamers and developers are very much the same. Like we're fans of games and put references in games, but they love to stack those obscure references in their writing. There's always allusions for other writers and fans of Hollywood to appreciate.
I think I found something different every time I watched it. And I know I watched each episode probably 4 or 5 times when we were doing the series on our show. It was like, because I would watch one time straight through, one time with notes, and then again as a refresher. It was a lot.
Yeah, there's always new things.
I miss it. you know, now that we've finished our series, like I miss it. I'm gonna go back and watch again.
No, Will uses it as his comfort show, he said, these days.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, when you watched it, Dawn, did you watch one episode at a time? Did you ever watch all episodes in one run without watching each episode multiple times? Did you do a straight run through of the whole story?
Yeah. I actually have not binged all 8 episodes at once yet. I'll have to do that.
Yeah, I haven't done it quickly. I did it like a week apart before we recorded each episode, but
well, I mean, I guess I sort of did that way, but I haven't watched it like straight through. I know the night it dropped, I watched the first 2 episodes, and then I was at my parents' for the weekend, so I didn't really get back to it for several days, and then we started recording the episode, so I went back and watched the first one again.
Yeah.
Like before I watched the third. So it was like, it was weird because I was watching them all out of order because I would watch one, but then I'd have to go back and watch another one so I could take notes and refresh.
Interesting. Yeah, so. I think a lot of us did it that way at first, as far as watching a bunch, but then going back and rewatching. Ray, I mean, you were probably the closest. You finished the whole thing in 2 days, the first watch, right?
Yeah.
It took me 3.
Yeah, four one day and 4 the next.
Yeah, and I did 3 and 3 and 2. So, you know, we're pretty tight.
I never even watched it straight through a first time. I mean, I had probably several watches of early episodes in before I ever finished the end. I did try and get through the end fairly quickly because so many people were talking about it already.
Being spoiled, exactly.
Yeah. And, I mean, which was kind of fair because I think it had already been out almost a week by the time I could get to it because I was out of town for the weekend, and then I worked a couple days when I got back, and then it was like, hey, it's been out for a week. So people felt like, hey, we can talk about it now. And I'm like, I've been busy. So
I prefer you didn't.
I gotta get to it. Yeah. It was like, and I'm one of those people, it's like, spoilers are fine. I mean, I know it's coming, but I still want to process it myself. I still want, I'm still going to see it myself.
Always different experiencing it in person versus
even if you know it's coming. It's
I don't usually mind them
that you expected.
Plot twist. Try to be respectful. Like Andrew was saying a couple weeks ago that it's fine. Spoilers are on the TV show are okay now in general. But if we have a big one, we're gonna broadcast it. If we have a big one, we'll broadcast it.
Right.
Otherwise, no.
Yeah, I mean, in the first week or so, I was like, when we talked about it on the show, we were just like, spoiler alert or whatever, because I still felt like people like me that are like that, work crazy hours or whatever, maybe haven't seen it yet. So, or like some people who just want to like drag it out, because I know some people wanted it to be weekly and they were just kind of experiencing that way for themselves. So
there are actually some strong souls out there who are probably really good at dieting too, who manage to only watch one a week. Like, what is wrong with these people?
There were people who were talking about doing that, and I'm like, congrats. I don't know how you have that kind of willpower, but good job. Yeah, they were like, I want to watch one and like digest it, and I was like, great. I can't. I don't have that kind of willpower, but I actually, for the fact that I'm a total binger because I don't have a lot of time to watch TV. So when I do, I'll like binge it. I actually did not binge this, and it's crazy that I wasn't, so now I feel like I need to do a binge just to see how it all flowed together in order, because I never really saw that. So that might be interesting to do that, and I think a lot of that just stemmed from the fact that we did the episodes, that we did the rewind or whatever we called it.
I'm really excited to absorb it one time, all of the episodes really quickly. Now that we have gone through slowly and digested and pulled it apart, now I want to do the step back and just see the whole story unfold. And like if I have it on in my earbuds when I'm like just doing laundry and dishes and stuff around the house, I can knock out the whole season in a week.
Oh yeah,
So I'm excited to absorb just that whole story arc, and because it feels so fucking epic, like so much happened. And I'm wondering, is that because I waited so long and we were so fucking tight on every little detail of everything that was happening? Is that why it seemed like so much happened? Is because we were overzealous in our observations, or was like? So I'm interested to see like what kind of actual
Maybe.
like Homeric adventure happened here. You know what I mean?
Because I mean, we were hyper focused on every single detail. I mean, I was looking for Easter eggs. I was looking for nuances. I was like, "Ooh, pay attention to this thing here because it comes back." You know, we see it later in like episode 7, and this is where the tie-in is.
Right.
You know, so like, you know, all those things that we were picking up, and you know, noting is like, pay attention to this because this is going to come back. You're going to see it again, and this is where this is important, and blah blah blah. And so now it'd be nice to just kind of like sit back and not think about it, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know,
Treat it like
might
not
be
work at
interesting
it.
to see it all straight through with, because when actually all the times that I've watched it, you're constantly pausing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
what
did.
was that? Back it up, take a look again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So to see it,
What do you say?
continuous without any
Straight through.
breaks.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was pause, notes, rewind, pause, notes, rewind. Ooh, you know, and like go back, wait, I missed something, you know. And so yeah, it would be nice to, and I think this is gonna be one of those shows where people are like, you know, what's that thing that you can have playing in the background and you can watch it all the time? Like it doesn't matter if it's on, you'll just watch it. And I have a feeling that this is gonna be one of those.
It is that for Will, like we were saying. Ray, I don't remember. You don't put on subtitles, do you?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
'Cause
the big.
I typically don't, but I
they're
did for
ridiculously
this.
they're ridiculously wrong.
They are. They're really
They are
they're
sometimes.
hysterically wrong sometimes.
Yeah. It's like, what is this person listening to?
It's gotta be an
if
AI
they're
too.
if it's if it's closed caption stuff from the studio, it's almost always the script that they gave before they did the rewrite for the final. And so
Yeah.
they'll say stuff in it that's like, that's not what he said.
Yeah, and I wonder about that. Like sometimes when you see that like they get things completely wrong because maybe they didn't understand like an accent or something or whatever. And then I'm sitting here thinking, these poor people that are hearing impaired that are trying to figure out what's actually happening. And like what I just read made 0 sense.
Mhm.
How are they like enjoying this show?
Definitely depends upon whether or not they're auto-generated or
Right.
professional.
auto- yeah,
subtitles.
the
Amazon
auto-generated
usually
ones are,
has
like,
some professional transcription,
Whacked
but
out.
but some of them are auto-generated, and certainly when I'm watching YouTube with auto-generated subtitles,
They're
that can
terrible.
be way off. I mean, like even last night I was taking notes on something, and I said Baldur's Gate 3, and yeah, my phone wrote bald or scabies. I'm like, bald or scabies? What?
That's like a medical condition. You might have that looked at.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell that the ones that are using, the auto-generated ones are almost always using, some kind of a voice to text.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is
And those
horribly,
are the
horribly
ones
one.
that, yeah, they're, they're comically, incorrect. And then the ones that are generated by the studio are typically, just off because they're the original script and not the final
Oh.
script.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point too.
And if
Right.
they're off a few words, that's probably fine because, whatever, as long as they get the gist of what's going on. But some of these auto-generated ones, it's just like,
Yeah,
What?
not even close.
what did that just say? But it's funny because like I personally don't like them. My son does all the time. I don't know why, but he always has to have them on. So half the time they're on, half the time they're off. But I did turn them on for this just so that I knew I wasn't going to miss anything.
That's why I like them a bit. Yeah. When it comes to actually watching, I'm not quite 50-50 with subtitles, but I have friends who will only watch with subs. Like they always put subs on. And I have found that not just recognizing names, but the need to, when you can't quite hear the audio, rewind and play again.
Yes.
I've
And
got
there are times I will turn it on
Mhm.
if like I'm watching a show and maybe like the audio is really low and like the vocal part is really low and the music is really loud and I'm having really hard time like fixing that, then I'll just pop on the subtitles because I'm just tired of like, you turn it up, but it doesn't really help. And then I hate that feeling of like, I guess I'm going deaf. I just too much loud music in my car over the years.
They have
like,
really
coming
changed
back
the way
to
that
haunt
they
me.
mix audio too. Like they've talked about how audio has gotten a lot muddier the last
Yeah.
decade, and voices mixed lower compared to old movies if you go and watch them. But also, I think they're often mixed for full surround sound, and yet a lot of time people aren't watching with that. If I watch
I
in
think
my
so.
living room with 7.1 and a dedicated center
Yeah.
speaker, I hear much better than when I'm watching on the upstairs TV with just regular speakers.
Yeah.
Ah.
No, that's a good point.
Quick check-in from Lee. Lee looked up on Xbox, and he has 1,396 hours in Starfield. I think that deserves a Lee shout out.
You guys are neck and neck.
Oh my God, Lee. 1,300 hours. That's way more than me.
Yeah, that's a ton.
Attaboy, Lee.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Lee.
Us old retired guys.
He deserves one of these too.
That was it. Boy, I can't wait till retirement. I tell you, get caught up on my game.
That's awesome. And 500 plus on PC. So he's no slacker. He's right there with you.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Well,
the other thing that annoys me about subtitles is if you're watching a show that has some foreign language in it,
Mm-hmm.
and they give you the translation, but it's covered up by the subtitles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Don't do
that's
that.
no good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I first got into subs though, was because of watching things that had what is it called normally on older shows? Well, anyway,
Closed
that had the
captioning?
translation there.
Closed caption.
Yeah, we're talking about closed caption, but just regular subtitles.
Just
I
the
think,
regular,
back then.
translating.
translation subtitles.
Well, and that is irritating, especially when they don't bother to translate for you when they're doing the closed captioning. They just do like speaking foreign language or something like that, and you're like,
Yeah, covering
I can
up
see
that,
they're trying to tell me what they're saying underneath. Go away.
Yeah. So I have come across some where when they have more than one person talking, they'll put one subtitle at the top of the screen and one at the bottom.
Oh, I haven't.
So
seen
that you can see, that it's two different, when two different people talk,
Oh.
instead of fogging it up with their names and then what they said,
I want them to do like comic book style.
like comic book style. Yeah.
Air
Oh, wow.
bubbles with a literal like white line around with the words.
Well,
that'd
yeah,
be,
well,
that'd,
that's
that'd be
coming next.
awesome. I want that though. I don't care. That'd be hilarious.
No, I usually just see it where they'll identify like one person,
Yeah.
and then you're always just like, wait, wait, who's saying that?
Well, all this TV show talk has me
Yeah.
a bit
How about
hungry.
that? How about that TV show?
Has me a bit hungry for some iguana bits.
I do love
Andrew,
that
do you think I could
TV
get some
show.
iguana bits served up? We could talk about the show a little.
Absolutely.
Jessica, to the office, please. Jessica, to the office. Your
Oh.
iguana bits are ready. Please come pick them up.
You better go to the office.
I'm
Oh.
ready.
Thank you. I was hoping they were ready. Let's take a look. What do we have
Wait
here?
a second. Why are they
Um,
serving iguana bits in the office and not the cafeteria, Jess?
Um,
I never asked
look.
this.
It was late one night. I didn't even know you were recording that. You just turned it into a thing.
It's a great
But-
thing.
Apparently, I'm in trouble, so I have to go to the office to get my iguana bits.
Everybody
love
else go to
that.
the cafeteria. She's been singled out.
I'd rather go to the bar, but whole nother story. So, Fallout TV show, guess what? Got a bunch of Emmy noms. Emmy noms,
Yeah,
as
I
you
saw
changed my notes
that.
here, Andrew.
Nominee, nom
Congrats.
noms. You know what we're nomming on, Jess?
Ass jerky.
You're right.
Oh my God, ass jerky. So, yes, the Fallout TV show has gotten 16 Emmy nominations. 16 Emmy nominations.
That's a lot.
Yeah. In eight episodes, 16 noms. So let's see. If I'm going down through these, as far as actors, it looks like only Walter Goggins got the nom there. But he was nominated for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
He made a really nice post on his Instagram about that. He's
That's
such a
what-
cool
Had
guy.
he been nominated for anything before? That's pretty cool.
I think
Chan-
so.
Chances are he had, but yeah. So Moises Arias, Aaron Moten, Ella Purnell, they didn't get the
Mhm.
noms as far as that goes, but Walton Goggins did. But the show itself got a ton of noms. So just to go down what it was nominated for, in case people were curious: outstanding production design for a period or fantasy program,
Yeah.
outstanding fantasy sci-fi costumes. They like those authentic
They
costumes.
like the vault suits. Ooh, baby.
So do I. Outstanding picture editing for a drama series. I wonder, do you think they had any trouble deciding if this was drama or comedy?
I was just about to ask if you think it's actually a drama series.
Dramedy.
Some of the some of the later nominations actually get into that, but yeah, picture editing for drama series. Outstanding emerging media program. So I don't know that one. Maybe it's new, but it might have to do with new media on TV, like combining games and television,
Streaming
or
and games. Yeah, I don't know.
oh, streaming could be it. That's interesting. Outstanding main title design. Hell yeah. Give me that Fallout logo.
I can't believe
Well, they
that's a
changed
category.
it every
there's an
episode, which I thought was
Emmy.
cool.
There's an Emmy for main logo. What'd you say?
Yeah, outstanding main title design. So I imagine some of these are ones that aren't televised, which you know how there's always a number that are televised and a number that aren't. You know,
Right.
they just open the envelope and kind of tell you
Wow.
during the break when you were listening to this band,
Yeah,
these
yeah.
4 things won.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Fallout logo has stood the test of time. We love it. And like you're saying, the way it changed every episode in some kind of relevant way was
Yeah.
really cool.
That was cool.
Also, outstanding period or fantasy sci-fi makeup, non-prosthetic. So,
So
non-prosthetic.
that's not Walton's makeup then.
No, that would just be the general
Be everybody
dirt and
else.
grime.
I guess.
Non.
We just threw some dirt on it.
So does that digital effects then? If it's non-prosthetic?
Who
I
did-
think, well, they're talking makeup, so I think it also just means the general, look of the makeup, eyeshadow, colors, tones, maybe kind of
Really?
capturing this, like
That's
the
weird.
different vibes in the period for the 50s style stuff in the
Maybe
vault.
that also covers
pre-war
like
stuff.
wounds and
Oh.
stuff like that. Like
It definitely
because
would, yeah.
They would
Okay.
do like all the blood and stuff like that. I don't know.
Next, outstanding prosthetic makeup. So there's your ghoul and
There you
prosthetic.
go.
And you said he was
Outs-
all practical. They didn't do the white dots for him at all.
Outside of his nose.
The only thing they did was his nose,
His nose.
Mhm.
Okay.
digitally altered that puppy.
That's right, because we had that
Outstanding.
ear
so
conversation.
that they didn't have to cut the end of it off. He kind of was attached to it.
People usually are.
That came
Outs-
straight from him. He was like, "Nope, I wasn't gonna lose my nose."
Outstanding music supervision, which I think is great, incorporating, I mean, obviously an amazing soundtrack. First of all, great ambient soundtrack, but
Yeah.
bringing in the Fallout songs from the games and bringing in other period songs, which we need to get. Sorry, I'm tapping my glass. I'm excited here. We need to get more of those in the games. There were some
I
songs they played there
agree.
that just really belong in the next Fallout game. So,
I agree.
calling you out. Outstanding
Get
drama
Julie
series.
some new songs.
Outstanding lead actor in a drama series, which is the one for Walton. Outstanding sound editing, sound mixing. Both of these are comedy or drama series combined. So, see, it could be either in those ones.
How do you tell?
Special.
How do you tell when a series is edited well for sound and stuff like that? Like, I don't even know how those awards are presented, because if you're done well, you don't notice it. You know what I mean? It's that sort of thing. Like, you only
Maybe
notice
they
it if
just-
it's done poorly.
Maybe that's it. You didn't screw up. Good
Yeah,
job.
Yeah.
Professionals, I mean, professionals in that path would recognize for sure, which are, these are people who are voting. So, for instance, we're talking about how we're watching it in depth and rewinding and rewatching for Fallout lore or plot, for stuff like that related to the games. I'm sure people who are actual, sound and music effect mixers in television and film are probably very aware of how good it is or isn't, how well things flow together.
Did you see that crossfade he used? Oh, what a geek.
Man, that
Well, they also
ambient
know how
sound bed
hard
was
it
way too
is,
dominant.
Sure, to do some of that. So, or
Mhm.
like whatever part.
But I'm sure anything that has a mix of fighting and stuff like that, battle scenes, that sort of thing is always Got to be a balance. Beyond that, visual effects, stunt coordination, which, yay, that's cool. Stunt performance. So there's another actor who would have gotten nominated. Would have been a stunt actor, but someone was nominated for outstanding stunt performance. And writing for a drama series.
Writing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How cool
awesome
is that?
writing. What was the most impressive visual effect? Because they were nominated for that. What was the biggest? The gulper with the fingers in the throat? What do you think?
That was pretty cool.
What was the biggest visual thing in the series so far?
The nuclear attack on LA.
I was going to say, most of the people that I have seen who talk about the show and that I've talked to in person about the show that don't play the game or didn't know about it talk about the whole bombing of LA. That was like the thing that hit them. And but
That was
that's
really
always
stunning.
what hits us too. You know,
Mhm.
like Fallout 4 and you see the nuke go off and everything. And yeah, when we're coming out of the vaults, those big moments. That's what we always talk about. And that's what they mentioned. Cause like when we were at the Greenbrier and it like different places that we would go, they would see like our Fallout shirts or whatever, Penny running around in her vault suit. And they're like, did you see the show? And all these people are asking us, did you see the show? No, I
You should have been like,
never watched that.
what? There, huh?
No,
Ooh,
I would
what?
not watch that show. But it was cool because we're like, well, what did you think of it? Because I'm assuming you don't play the game, you know, and all these people. I mean, even like this stuffy looking guy who was going to dinner with, you know, his formal wear on, he saw Penny in the hallway and was like, cool, you know, and it was cool. You know, these people that
Yeah, we've talked a bit about how there are
know anything
definitely more
about it.
people recognizing and acknowledging our
Yeah.
fandom now that it's a show. And a popular one.
Yes.
Even. So congrats. It's just an honor to be nominated, and we will see at the Emmys if we win some too. I say we, but come on. Hello, it's all of our
I
show.
know. It's
It's
all
all
of
our
us.
show.
We're gonna be those jaded
ours.
assholes who were like, "Ugh, we were here before when Fallout is like 10 seasons deep and it has 4 movies and Lucy has her own spin-off and like there's a Ghoul prequel and like all sorts of shit. You know what I mean? We're gonna be like,
there better
ugh,
be.
good lord, you guys, we've been here since
We
the
totally
beginning.
need a spin-off for the Ghoul.
Screw you guys.
Well, there are a couple ideas there, but that actually rolls into the next iguana bit I've got here. So about the Fallout TV show, in an interview with Variety, some Amazon TV executives were talking about it, and I have a quote here from I believe Vernon Sanders is his name. He's the head of television production at Amazon. One reason why I think that this was notable, because we've talked a lot about the various showrunners and stuff talking about the show. This isn't, you know, Jonathan Nolan. This isn't the showrunners in Kilter Films. This is the head of TV production at Amazon talking about the Fallout show, and it's neat. It reminds me of, okay, like when we're talking about the Fallout games or Elder Scrolls games, if Todd, if Emil, if Pete, miss you Pete, if they talk about Fallout or Skyrim, we're like, okay, awesome, yeah, that's great, that's what we expect, we love it. But if Phil Spencer or Satya Nadella talk about it, we're like, dang, talking about our game, the, you know, head honchos. And so same thing here, you know. So yeah, we had TV executives on interviewing Variety, and Vernon Sanders said, I think we're ahead of schedule in terms of being able to get season 2 back. There's no concrete launch window. However, we already have some scripts in hand. So yeah, he cares enough about it. I mean, second most watched show on Amazon ever. So that is no wonder they're enjoying it. But yeah, so they already have scripts in hand. So that's amazing. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, if the standard production schedule has been, you know, 2 years a show lately on a lot of these streaming programs, maybe we get it in a year and a half. Maybe we get it autumn of 2025. I know most people still think 2026, and probably, but who knows? Who knows? We'll see.
Whatever, they've already got sets established, costumes made, stuff like that. They don't need the build up period anymore. You know what I mean? They can hit
Yes
the ground
and
running.
no. A lot of
Well-
pre-pro done, but it's not like a game where you can just pop the assets in. Like we talked about, they are moving production from the various locations in New York and Utah and a few other places to California for the most part. There's that moving, but they do have a lot of those stuff made. However, again, they also, new location, probably centered around New
Right.
Vegas.
Right.
There'll be some new stuff there.
They'll have
But
to
yeah.
build new sets for that.
They definitely have a jump on some of it. You know, the overall art design, they've already got that set. So yeah, there are a few steps in. Totally agree.
Not to mention they'll have to build their Death Claw. They'll have to do because he likes physical sets. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to do too much CGI. And I know what I saw, what they built at the Gulper. They built that almost the whole thing was
Yeah.
an actual
Gopher
peak.
and the Yaogwai being, a lot of it practical was pretty awesome.
So they're gonna have to build a Deathclaw. There's a lot they gotta do.
God, I probably just blanked on his name. What's Lucy's dad's name? Something McLean, right? Hank.
Henri.
He was standing on like a rim above the ridge overlooking New Vegas.
Right.
He's above that Deathclaw Canyon, isn't he? Isn't that the
I bet.
Valley of the
He probably is.
Deathclaws?
He's gonna walk right into
north,
it.
right north of Good Springs. Isn't that what he's right about to
If
walk
you
through?
look at the angle, he'd actually be a little bit past the Red Rocks Canyon area, or the area where the cons were, probably a little bit north of. He'd be closer to.
Oh, really?
He'd be closer
That's too
to. Oh my gosh! Why am I blanking on the bugs?
I wanted to
Ray?
walk right
Oh,
into the
the
nest.
Cazadores.
The Cazadores nest.
Cazadores. Thank you. I'm like, that tequila brand, Cazador. Yeah, exactly. They
Your
both
brain
have
works like
bites.
mine does.
Also, another reason I want to mention it here in this Iguana bit, during that discussion, they also quashed anthology format rumors. So there was a rumor going around that, what if, and I don't know really where this started, but I saw a lot of it on Reddit and such, people saying, what if the next season was more of an anthology? So we get different tales from around the wasteland. And okay, that's cool, but hello, we've got characters we love. We've got a
Right.
story arc here. They're not going to abandon that.
Yeah, they shouldn't abandon them. We'll be like,
And they definitely confirmed that.
No.
However, that got
You know
the
what?
little noggin sparked. Spinoff. If they do a spinoff, if
Exactly.
there is something that they should do for a spinoff, an anthology, tales from the Commonwealth, tales from the Wasteland kind of anthology would be awesome.
it would be.
Yeah, just call it
But I
Wasteland.
think they need to do the ghoul, and we need to know what he's been doing for the past 200 years.
But do
sure.
it more like House of the Dragon and less like The Witcher when they tried to do some spinoffs because
Yes.
those weren't so good. But of course,
Yeah.
that whole show went the wrong direction. So,
But like Lee said, part of that's going to depend on when actors are available. And I know Walton's like one of the busiest guys right now. I think he's doing like 3 projects.
yeah, that would make sense. I'm sure they're all in pretty high demand.
Well, they will be now, but I know he has been. So yeah, it's crazy.
In further news, it's just something that I've reported on Twitter. Actually, when I was thinking up, I went looking for more information and I found articles quoting me. So yay. I love when that happens.
Articles quoting yourself. Good
Yeah,
job.
like thegamer.com. They're like, according to Jessica Starr, like,
No.
dude. But anyway,
That's hilarious.
yeah, it makes me laugh. Like, because a lot of I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But with a number of gaming websites being a little bit heavy on the churn lately, combating AI articles, so you got people who are writing, multiple articles a night. Like the gamer probably posts 12 articles an evening. You know what I mean? So like
Good
they
Lord.
grab more stuff from Twitter and Reddit these days, as I'm sure people have noticed.
But, you're an influential person in the gaming world. Good job.
It's
You're an influencer, Jess.
that's gaming news. We're a little bit incestuous. The journalists and the influencers and, the personalities, different things. We all, I'm not going to say we crib each other's homework, but we share information. Absolutely. So the
Yeah.
information
We're
here,
still a smallish community as far as gaming
Fallout
communities
goes.
go.
Yeah, as far as Fallout goes. But Fallout London has gotten the green light from GOG.com. We mentioned last week how they had talked to patrons and then eventually everyone about the fact that they had submitted their builds, the overall plans for the launch being, now launching with an installer and a downgrader to make it run on the old version, which, Ray immediately shook his head about.
Oh, boy.
GOG was doing QA on the different things with different versions of the game. It does turn out, and it's been said that at this time, it's not going to work with Epic Games installed versions of Fallout 4. So if you own your Fallout 4 through the Epic Game Store, you're going to want to try a different version. So, the Steam version, the GOG version, the Microsoft Store version, one of those. Right now, it's not working with Epic Games, the launcher. However, that might be fixed in the future. Just know to start. That's the case. But yeah, it has gotten the green light on QA for everything they're publishing. It is back. They said the ball's in their court for the final stage with the full-on team going and deciding when they're going to announce the date and, you know, getting everything ready for the rollout. So again, is this a little bit of a nothing burger? Sure, but I'll chew on every iguana bit I can here because I'm eager. Ray's eager. We're eager. And if they're on the final stage and we know it's pretty close to ready, it wouldn't surprise me if they announced within the week when it's going to be coming. Maybe not the day, but hopefully.
Yeah. I regularly pop open the GOG launcher and check.
Right, because if it'll be anywhere, it'll be there first for sure.
Yeah. And I've already got it saved, so just waiting for the install button to pop up.
When I first heard the news, I went to confirm it personally and talk to some of them, and a couple of the devs responded. Saffron Rice, she's the lead, she's the head of 2D art for the group. So she's awesome, love her. And she said, your personalized response is yes, we definitely have it back, and we are happy that GOG are happy that everything works as it should, and we are getting it together. So yeah, it was nice to get a little personalized response there. Checking if there's any late breaking news updates. Oh, there's a new note for
Breaking
patrons.
news.
Yeah, new note for patrons. Oh, they're saying that they're sorry they haven't communicated with us as much recently. They've just been so busy getting things ready. Not a problem. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, Fallout London.
Oh, just an apology.
Not really an apology. Just if you feel neglected, we're sorry. Of course,
That's
we
good.
don't.
I'm glad it's
They've been,
funny.
you know, they've tried to keep communication open, and some people have complained about the length of time, you know, from being pushed back and then getting news. And I understand, you know, there was a bit of radio silence in May and most of June, as far as when it was actually going to happen, but we knew they were working. So yeah, we're getting it.
How much does it cost or anything? How are these people making money off of this? Are they not at all? Like how's that
Really?
work?
So, I don't know. They've been totally public about the breakdown there, so I don't know how much I can get into, and I don't know that much
I mean,
myself.
is
anyway,
it
but
sort of like a crowd-funded type thing, or
it is. Here's the
Okay.
thing: legally, they can't make money on it and sell it per se. You know what I mean? The mod cannot be as part of them being allowed to do it and use it with the IP, and not have it pulled down or cease and desist. They can't make money on actually selling it, but they do have the Patreon, and you know the patron funds go to a lot of things, helping them keep them fed and buying them lunch and stuff like that. So you know there is pay there, but a lot of it is server costs, developer tools. So in order to work on a project this large, because as I've mentioned, there are 50 dedicated people on the team, and then there's a good 100 or so total that have worked on it. So they've got to have a database and versioning software for developers where someone can work on something, they can put it in, they can integrate it, and maintaining a current version, a work version, a proposed version, and all this stuff. It needs storage. It needs the data bandwidth. When you're talking about the actual file size being, you know, the install being like 50 gig or so, whatever it's going to end up being, and people constantly moving that, shuffling parts back and forth, uploading, re-uploading, and keeping these versions distinct, that software alone takes a decent chunk of the Patreon money. And there are any number of other things, tools they use, official licenses, stuff like that. So, but they're getting a bit of a stipend for it, you know, a small amount from the Patreon, I'm sure. But I don't know the exact figures. So
Say,
enough to keep them going.
passion project type thing then?
Exactly. Yeah, but that is how they get support, is through the Patreon. And I think they have a couple hundred backers now, over 100 for sure.
Ray, do you ever toss a bone to modders that you appreciate?
Oh,
or
absolutely.
You use their
Yeah,
Is
I've got a lot of them.
Patreon is the way that's usually done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Patreon, Ko-fi, maybe Kickstarter. Those are the most common. Ko-fi is a big one because people can do like individual small donations there as opposed to a monthly update, like with Patreon.
Well, I'm sure they appreciate it, Ray.
And that is a great segue into, creations, paid mods. I know some people object, and I got a little story about that at the end as far as, some thoughts on creations. But that is another way that you can actually support modders who work on these things, give a lot of their free time to making stuff that we enjoy, is check out the creations in the creations with Skyrim and Starfield. And Creation Club with Fallout. We're not on creations yet in Fallout. Next bit I wanted to mention. So this is just a fun little tidbit. People know that a lot of us have been big fans of Baldur's Gate 3. It just took the RPG world by storm.
Ray, you played it?
No.
How much Baldur's Gate 3 do you play, Ray? Dawn, how many hours do you fit in?
I can't say that I have.
We, as in Will and I, and a lot of our extended community.
I think
Jen,
my
of
husband
course.
may have.
Yeah.
I can't attest to knowledge of that.
Yeah, we as in the ASA podcasting general extended family. Anyway, that was done by Larian Studios, and it took the world by storm, even though it competed with Starfield coming out around the same time. But Larian Studios is run by Sven Vink, and Sven Vink. There was an article in PC Gamer where they were talking to him about various projects and stuff, and this fun little tidbit came up. So I just wanted to kind of quote about this. So he's in talking about how they chose to work on Baldur's Gate and kind of the reasoning behind some of that going after the license. He said, I thought there was a glass ceiling that we wouldn't be able to break through unless we have AAA production values, AAA production budget, AAA marketing, and only a few big name games could make that happen. It would have been Ultima. It would have been Fallout. Or it would have been Baldur's Gate. We felt like those were the three we had to choose from or, try to go after. The quote ended at Baldur's Gate. I just editorialized there. Sven Vink at Larian, they were going after maybe trying to get Ultima, trying to get Fallout, or trying to get Baldur's Gate. Classic RPGs in their isometric style that they could make a game in. And I'm just like, can you imagine if Larian had done an old school Fallout version? Oh, gosh. Okay. I know this panel here. You guys are like, yeah, we didn't play it. Whatever, Jess. But the characterization and companions were so good, BioWare level companions and that kind of story. Just really wonderful. And their interpretation of it could be neat. And I've always said, y'all know, that I would love an In Exile version of the early Fallouts. Either have In Exile make a new isometric Fallout in the Wasteland 3 engine or rework 1 and 2. Now, It's been said by Todd that they're not looking to remake 1 and 2 anytime soon at all. And, with reasons behind it, whether you agree with them or not, about the aesthetics and jank and of the time being part of the artistry of the game. But now there's another one on the list. Imagine if Larian did it too. I just thought that was a fun comment. Also, his choices. Y'all know that Ultima was my first RPG, Ultima 3 Exodus and Ultima Quest for the Avatar. So I'm a huge fan of that series. So for him to name 3 of my favorite series, I'm just like, wow, how cool is that?
I don't know. With the success of the show and everything, I kind of feel like there's more of a chance of those weird Fallout projects that I never gave hope to maybe happening a little bit. Maybe Fallout 4 on Switch one day. Who knows?
Still waiting in the wings. I don't think for Larian specifically, because of the fact that with the success of Baldur's Gate, they're now very focused on their original IP. They're not doing another Baldur's Gate, and now they've got the extra credibility in their hat to go back to Divinity: Original Sin, which the first 2 did pretty well already, and now they can go do their own thing with all the prestige.
I just know that Fallout and Fallout 2, just by playing them on the laptop here, that these could easily work on your phone with a touch adventure really easily. These would be perfect mobile games.
We got the enhanced editions of a lot of the Neverwinter Nights, the original Baldur's Gate enhanced editions came out, and doing an enhanced edition of 1 or 2 would be awesome. But we do think that there are things waiting in the wings because, as Todd hinted in the last couple months, there are a couple more Fallout projects, things happening he couldn't talk about at the time. And he better not have meant the Call of Duty skins and the
Oh, yeah, I
Fortnite
hope not.
skins, because if those were the two things he was referring to, boo, I say. Boo.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do think that there are undercover secret things happening that, whether it's Fallout Shelter Online or another Fallout Shelter or a game spin-off or just whatever it is, I'm excited. The success of the show has really buoyed the franchise. As
Yeah.
Phil Spencer said at SGF when he was asked about Fallout, he said, "All I can say is Todd is very aware of the success of the show. People pushed him. Fallout 5 you mean sooner? Changing anything?
Yeah.
Todd is
Oh.
very aware of the success of the show."
Yeah.
They have to be probing a Skyrim show too, I can only imagine, right? Or a movie series or something, right?
I've seen people ask for it.
It while it's not a generic fantasy setting, I would never say that because I love Elder Scrolls and the way they do things. It might not have the same purchase that Fallout does, and it might be harder to interpret. But
You
video
don't think
game
it's
TV shows
specific?
are becoming the rage. Video game TV shows
Yeah.
and movies. People working a lot of different adaptations now.
Probably depends a lot on the writers.
Yeah, when's the Borderlands movie coming out? Right? Do you remember?
I think the 19th.
Okay, so
When's
soon.
BioShock coming to Netflix? Anybody heard?
That's going to be a little bit further out, I think, still. But yeah, they're working on a lot of these series. August 2024. Okay. 19th. Oh, Showtime, August 8th. So yeah, looks like it'll come out on the 8th of August. August 8th or 9th. Awesome. As far as BioShock TV show, do we
I
have
haven't
anything
seen
on that?
anything.
Everything we know about the Netflix adaptation. So I haven't looked up info on this.
I haven't seen anything posted on. I keep seeing things floating around, but I haven't seen anything definitive.
Yeah, this most recent article I'm seeing, which is only 4 months old, says casting hasn't been announced yet. So yeah, they're not
Yeah,
that
they're not
close,
close.
probably. No. Anyway, other stuff coming up. So here's the thing: there's the Iguana Bits. You're like, well, you're talking show, you're talking random stuff, talking mods. Well, that's because there have been no real major announcements in our games since early July. We've got the PTS happening for 76 right now. We don't have any big updates on the table for Fallout 4. Nothing else about the show. Nothing else about Starfield besides what's happening now. I'm hoping they announce a new beta in the next couple weeks for the next Starfield update. But it has been hinted at that the pace of updates will slow down from the every 6 or 7 weeks we had for the first half of the year to a little slower until we get Shattered Space. Shattered Space, we don't know when it's happening. I'm still hopeful we get it around September for the year anniversary, but that may be too hopeful. Other people speculate, November, December. So we'll see. Looking ahead on the calendar, this weekend in Fallout 76, we currently have a legendary vendor sale. Not that exciting, but starting Tuesday, jingle, jangle, jingle. No, that isn't your
Oh, no way.
Spurs. We're getting Jingle Scorch back.
My God.
So yeah, hold on to your
Jing,
hats,
jing,
you
jing,
bite
jing,
those thick
jing,
blue
jing.
boys, get your Christmas presents and gifts, and that'll be a good time. We'll see
Get
what's
'em
in those
ready.
boxes. I don't think there's any new rewards. I know you asked last week, Andrew. I haven't seen the list, but I don't think there's any new rewards. But there were
I thought
enough
there
added
was.
for
I
this one
thought-
specifically. There were some added over the winter, but I don't know if there are more coming up now.
I thought Fargassier, I thought he was saying that there was because he had a bunch of wrapping paper saved up that he was going to open when they
Well,
start.
let's take a look then. So I'm just going to take a look, see if I can find anything on that real quick. We're doing the show on the show. I know everybody loves that.
I'm going to go broke buying wrapping paper again.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, you guys are probably going to find out before I can tell you because I don't know this week. In the data miners Discord right here, I'm going to look up holiday
Yeah.
gifts.
Anytime I see one of those, I save it, figure out what
Yeah.
I'm missing.
Yeah,
out
there are a
on.
couple great data miners that share stuff. That we get obviously DJ and Sugar Bombs Rads and a number of friends. But Okay, one of the new holiday scorch plans. Yes, there are new plans. You are correct. Can I find a list of them? I might not be able to.
Yeah,
There's
that's
new
what I-
plans? Nuh-uh.
Yep, there are going to be new plans. I cannot believe it.
Hey,
Wow.
I got my first glowing mask tonight. I bought it in a vendor for 10 caps.
Oh, congrats.
It was a Minotaur, but hey, it's glowing.
That's something for sure. Glowing Minotaur. I mean,
10 caps.
I don't have any glowies.
The only one I have. I will never wear it, I'm pretty sure. But I will put it in my Helvetia camp.
Okay, so yeah, I don't have a data mine on the new plans,
Thought I
but the data miners
did.
Discord is hinting that there will be. So if that's the case, bravo. You know?
Yeah, I
That's
thought I had
awesome.
one somewhere, but I've got so much stuff in my phone that I'm not putting a finger on it yet.
And then let's see, what else? That's the calendar. Looking ahead, we have QuakeCon and Gamescom coming up. So even though the news is a little slow right now and probably will be for the next couple weeks, QuakeCon is going to be on August 8th to 11th. And a lot of times, QuakeCon is more about the fans, but occasionally we get sneak peeks of stuff. So maybe we'll get some good sneak peek footage of the upcoming update or other things there. Maybe some information about, I don't know, the expansion for Shattered Space or something we don't know about. So that's coming up. So watch for info there, August 8th. And then Gamescom towards the end of August. And Microsoft is saying they're doing the largest presentation they've done at Gamescom this year. So they don't usually do as much for Gamescom, so it's certainly not E3 level or SGF level. But there's a lot of stuff they're working on we haven't seen, so expect to see more. And that'll be mid to late August. The last thing I have, we've got a lot of bits here. So I just wanted to mention, this is kind of a shout out, kind of an iguana bit. Juice had video. So we don't talk about Juice that much these days, but he's still an awesome YouTuber doing his thing regularly, finding all the insane new information. Sorry, just teasing you about your titles. But so he did a video where he spent $100 on the paid mods and creations for Starfield, so you don't have to. And I thought that was a really cool idea for a video. The whole thing's about 40 minutes long, so go and watch it if you want. But I wanted to go in and let you know some of his thoughts on that. There we go.
Yeah, I think I saw that too. It was a good one.
Yeah, it was a good video. So there are more and more paid creations happening. In fact, he mentioned during the video that he had to revise it a couple times as new things were added. So he spent about $100. And I'm just going to tell you some of the paid creations he liked, some he was neutral on, and the ones he disliked, if you're interested at all. Ray, have you done any more of the paid creations or not really?
I haven't done any of them.
None of them.
Because I'm not doing creations.
Right, you're doing Nexus mods.
Yeah, so I don't like to mix because it does funky things.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because while creations are just mods, I can understand it maybe causing some issues when they're not implemented the same way, especially because of the fact
load orders.
Right, your load order and you're doing things through Vortex, right?
Yep.
So a couple of paid creations that Juice had liked. He mentioned the Starfield mining conglomerate. That's the one that adds a whole mining mechanic to the game where you can actually, have requisitions, mine more asteroids, compete with other mining conglomerates, all that. Looks kind of neat. He liked that one. Ellie's mod, the Elitech Crimson Habs, the Crimson Fleet Habs.
Oh, that thing looks so good.
Yeah, so classic Ellie design. And she brought in the atmosphere that the key has and a lot of Crimson Fleet stuff where it's got that slightly smoky, dingy atmosphere. There's more clutter and litter. Of course, clutter with Ellie. But some great habs you can mix and match. They look really nice. TH's, or I think it's TH's, Luxury Homes Volume 1. This was maybe the one that he was the most excited about, and I have to agree from what I've seen. Luxury Homes adds 30 prefab buildings to the game that you can build in your outpost. So it's one of the few that are really worth the actual money. Depending on how you evaluate it, we all have personal, place different values on things. But you're getting so much from this. that you can build a bunch of standalone prefabs. A lot of the houses that are already in the game, you can build for your own estate. You can even build a castle. It has walls like Aquila City and all that. So really cool one. The Derek Robot Companion mode. Derek, of course, is like Vasco, but a little bit smaller. He's more of a combat robot, and he's a voiced robot. It's a comedy companion, kind of, but fun. Deluxe Dynamic Boost Packs, Ray. I hope there's an equivalent to this creation.
Yeah, there's a lot of different dynamic boost packs.
Awesome. Well, the great thing about a dynamic boost pack is that if you're going up, it lets you go more up. If you're going forward, it lets you go more forward. Like it kind of adapts to how you move instead of being just a skip pack where you can't get any height anymore.
Right.
And it's also really cheap at 100 Todderinos, Todd Bucks, creation credits, whatever you want to call them. So,
yeah. Darkstar has that built into it too.
Nice. I love that kind of thing. Another really cool looking one, the Quantum Stealth Operations Safe House. So that's another paid creation. And it's a stealth based safe house in Neon, I believe, which, okay, that's cool. You've got a cool new player home, but there's also quests and a whole lot of new stuff with it. Got some quests. It's got some new abilities and items you can use. Just like gadget type items, like, you know, the way that Bond gets gadgets. So that looks like a lot of fun. The two more that he liked, I'm just going through the likes here because there's a lot altogether. Watch the video. But Skinthetics, which allows you to change your look to look like any other NPC in the game, or change the look of any NPC in the game to look like what you want them to look like. So, for instance, if you design your character a certain way, you can then transfer that, you know, to look like what you want your companion to look like. You can transfer that to the companion, and now, boom, you change how Sarah looks. Or you may be like, I want everyone to be Andreja. Well, I mean, okay, that's weird, but hey, you can make everybody Andreja. Just call her Gary. You know, you can do a lot of things with the appearance, so that was neat. And then finally, Hair Redone, which hair, okay, I know, but it looks really good. Good to get better looking hair, and it's only 100 Totterinos too. So that. I won't get into the rest. Some neutral. I will actually mention a couple that he disliked for reasons, just to warn you away, possibly. Although maybe you feel differently. He was not a fan of the Kingpin Trucker. Kingpin Trucker, which sounds cool, built-in trucking stuff, but you know, we have friends who play that, like Kenny, for instance, like to roleplay a trucker, and you can do, you know, move loads between the different star bases and the starship manufacturers. I mean, and this really, it didn't do anything more than that. You could essentially go to an NPC who would give you a load to bring to another NPC. You bring it, then they give you a load to give to another NPC, and it was really just daisy chained. No new quest, no new information, nothing fancy. So didn't love that. Mentioned the Neon Ramen. The Neon Ramen stall, which is really kind of cute. The robot chef is named Takeshi. So, you know, kind of little shout out to Takahashi from Fallout 4. But it's really just a ramen stand, and that's all it is in Neon. And then there are a couple things like that that are just, you know, a location doesn't really have a story, nothing to it. Do you really want to pay for that? Maybe you do, in which case, fine. But evaluating what you want to actually spend money on versus what you don't, he's, you know, letting you know the what includes stuff. And then finally, the last couple that hit the dislike list were mostly Bethesda ones. And those are there because the Bethesda creations, one cool thing about them is a lot of them are achievement friendly. You can install them and still get achievements. So that's awesome, right? Yes. But their pricing, well, I have to say, they're priced a little higher for the average creation that they're putting in the system than what most of the other modders are doing, the verified creators. So, for instance, they're selling a water-cooled mining outfit. So it's really just a spacesuit, water-cooled spacesuit. One outfit for 400 Totterinos. You know, so that's like $5 for a single skin. I don't know. You know, there are other, you can get whole skin packs. You can get mods that have an entire range of outfits for free, even. And so selling one skin for 400, up to you. But, you know, things like that. Same with, we talked about how the new Trackers Alliance faction, cool beans, fun stuff. Ray's played some. But the Vulture there, the paid creation for that, 700 Totterinos. And, you know, for just a simple quest, which once again may be worth it. But if you start looking at things as a percentage of the game, If you pay $30 for a game that's been out for a while, if you get a take and you're paying $7 or $10 for something, do you expect to get, a sixth or a fifth of a game? Like, no, it's one quest. And that does work on scale. You can't think of it that way. But if a person would pay $10 to $15 for a full DLC, like Far Harbor, you would expect that if you're dropping that kind of money on a creation, there would be more to it than a single quest. But just some thoughts there. I recommend watching the video. I thought it was a nice breakdown. The one area that I personally disagree with him on, and this is just my little editorializing here, but he mentioned a number of times during the video, and here's from other people too, that this mod should be free. This doesn't do much, it should be free. Now, the value of whether or not you would pay for something or not, that's totally personal, okay, like I'm saying. But I think the idea that something should be free is a little bit misplaced. Maybe a mod only adds a kick-ass outfit or a cool house, but someone still put hours of their time into that. So for the longest time, modders have been working for us always for free. And we can sometimes expect that, oh, we've always gotten this for free. We always will. But you know what? If someone puts 20 hours into building this cool thing that you can use, I don't think it's right to say that it's simple. It would normally be free in the past. It should be free now. I would say that people want to, say, hey, this is worth a couple bucks to me. Do you think it is too? That's up to the person.
Yeah, I mean, it's a marketplace.
Exactly.
If people don't want to spend money on it, they don't spend money on it.
Right.
If you overprice something, and then you realize that that nobody's buying it, then you decide maybe you need to lower the price.
Yeah, that's how it kind of works, right? Supply and demand and all that. I just think the idea that, if something small, it should be free. Like, no, let people decide if something small
What
should
is
be
he,
free.
a commie?
Well, and there's also just the value of the time of the creator. They might do similar things for free on Nexus, other mod sites, and that's totally great. It's great that people do that, but I don't know. It's up to you to decide if it's worth the cost or not. And it's up to someone to say, hey, my time and my expertise is worth money.
Yeah, it is. And, if I don't agree, then I just don't buy it. I don't have to have everything in the game. But that's capitalism, baby.
Yeah.
Stop being a pinko.
Oh, goodness. So I'm just checking. A quick note, going backwards a little bit. Quick update about the green light posted by Fallout London just 3 hours ago. So they did do an update on the Patreon, if not in the Discord. He says, many of you may have noticed the bots updated. However, we thought we'd do a statement for our supporters. We are pleased to inform that we've gotten the green light and the project is back in our hands. This doesn't mean it will be available today. It simply means the ball is now in our court and no longer with GOG, so we are not waiting on them. All the necessary preparations on our end are complete as well, so you won't be waiting much longer. Given the reaction the last time we hinted at a specific date, we're not going to make any promises right now, but you will certainly be getting regular updates daily during the next week. Oh, daily. Okay, I'm excited. Even not daily. During next week. Please remain patient.
Yeah, I mean, they are smart doing the rollback because that's the only version of the game that they have control over.
Right.
That version of the game won't change. As it sits now, if you put it on the most current version, then every single time that they update the version, you're going to have to, go through and rebuild your mod.
So having a controlled version is actually better for having a stable release. That makes sense.
Even if they just go back to the last, the rollback to the last version of the base game, which would have been before the latest patch, that's still locked in. That version of the game is never going to change.
Mm-hmm.
And if then you lock into that version and don't allow it to run on updated versions of Fallout 4, then you're solid.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm just going to finish the rest of the statement here. Just says, please avoid any speculation on the release date, as many of us, along with others, don't work on weekends. This means we can only coordinate starting Monday next week or Tuesday. Any actionable steps will happen during the week. That'll give you an idea to chew on. You'll be kept updated regularly. But yeah, avoid speculation. We understand everyone's excited.
We have to wait for we got to look at the British event calendar and see if there's, a St. Bartholomew Day or
Make sure there's no bank holidays.
Yes. Okay. Hold on.
Some
UK holiday.
Some famous historic holiday that they can pin their release date to.
Like Regalia Day or something like that.
August 1st. August 1st is going to be Yorkshire Day. Now, I realize that's 10 days away, but Yorkshire Day is celebrated. It originally began as a military holiday. Could be. And then, there's no other dates on the official calendar.
And it's got to be a really old one, too. It can't be anything modern.
Well, there's Ashura, is a Muslim holiday that's celebrated there. Summer Bank Holiday. That's a Scottish holiday on August 5th. That's way too far.
Yeah, that's too new. It's got to be something, that started at least in the 30s.
I like the idea of Yorkshire Day, August 1st. But anyway, no speculation. We were told, avoid speculation. Thank you for your patience.
So just tell somebody. You can't tell us to not speculate. Literally our jobs.
I love it. Yeah. I've told them, I'm like, I'll stoke the hype, but I'll make it clear there's no official announcement. Don't worry.
We have no date.
Well,
that's speculation.
That's it for my iguana bits. I don't know, Andrew, did you want to check in with Radioactive Rebecca?
I believe that it is about time to resurrect our Fallout Terminal Velocity segment. So let's go ahead and check in with Radioactive Rebecca, who's reporting from Diamond City in the Commonwealth Wasteland in Fallout 4.
This is Rebecca. I went back to the cabin and there were stacks of holotapes there, which is great. Thank you to everyone who's taken the time to collect and send the information over. I was chatting to a travelling vendor called Carla, and she told me about Diamond City. When I asked her to give me directions, she sounded kind of pissed off and said, yeah, keep your shirt on. I don't know what was up with her. Anyway, I decided to visit the city to see if I could find any terminals there. When I arrived, I was very fortunate to bump into a young girl selling newspapers. Her name was Nat, and she said that she could help me get access to all of the terminals in the city, as long as I give her a copy of all of the information that I find. I thought that was reasonable, so I agreed. She told me to wait at the noodle stand for her, and I spent the next hour listening to some very strange conversations between a Protectron chef and some of the residents of the city. When Nat came back, she had produced a fake security pass which she said would get me anywhere in the city that I want to go, but if anyone asks, we've never met, and if I get locked up or shot, I'm on my own. It made me a bit nervous, if I'm honest, but I decided to get going and do my best. The first terminal that I found belonged to someone called Doc Crocker. Nat told me that he killed himself not long ago, and that it was all very scandalous. Here's what was on his terminal. Have a perfect day, Dr. Crocker. Patient, Anne Codman. Beautiful Anne Codman. Well, I suppose I should say the former beautiful Anne Codman. There's only so much we can do to reverse the ravages of time, even with the miracle of facial reconstruction. Still, a steady customer is the best customer. List of procedures done. Lip adjustment, eye tuck, nose straighten, age mark removal, several, lift work, various, who's counting. Patient, Geneva. Such a perfect specimen. I almost hated to work on her, like damaging a fine portrait. Note, the smell of her hair is divine. She must use something for it. Solomon crafting soap products in addition to chems these days? I must ask him. List of procedures done. Birthmark removal against my protestations. Patient, Ellie Perkins, the detective's secretary, came for a consultation. We'll have to follow up with her, perhaps over some drinks. Patient, Abbott. Now this one was a surprise. Old Abbott. Now there is a man of few words. List of procedures done. Nasty scar across the abdomen. Rebuffed any attempts to ask where it was from. Easy enough to remove for a man of my talents, however. I feel really uncomfortable about reading these entries. But it's done now anyway, so there you go. The next terminal I've found belongs to Myrna, one of the shopkeepers. Synths are out there. Suspected synths. Mayor McDonough was in the paper. Ellie Perkins, obviously. Geneva, always orders the same thing. Arturo Rodriguez, too nice. Abbott, too mean. Piper, writing articles to deflect suspicion. Danny Sullivan, infiltrating the security team. Solomon, pretends to be high all the time. I know his tricks. Mo Cronin, only a synth loves baseball. Plans, anti-synth movement. There needs to be a real movement against the synths in this city. Security is useless. No matter how many reports I file, no one ever gets arrested. Don't they know all synths are right-handed and always eat promptly at noon? That's hard evidence, and I kept very, very strict records of everyone's activities in the market. I'm going to start hosting meetings, just a few trusted people. We'll take back control of this city from the synths. I'll need to screen everyone before I ask them. No matter how long it takes, I have to be sure. Anyone could be a synth. Anyone. Percy, maintenance schedule. This is your reminder, Myrna, that Percy is due for maintenance soon. He's the only one I can really trust, a machine that knows he's a machine. Why couldn't they have stopped there, huh? What's the point in making a robot that thinks it's human? Synths are not human. Now I'm in the security office, and I'm pretty scared. I just hope Myrna was right about the security being useless, and maybe they'll just leave me alone. Automated security terminal. Diamond City personnel access. Read first important notice. Please do not activate this Protectron unit again. This thing has been on the fritz for months now. In case you are new or just ridiculously forgetful, this unit started opening fire on civilians out of nowhere on a routine patrol. No one can seem to fix its targeting procedures, so we're taking it out of rotation indefinitely. I have no clue why we haven't ripped it apart for scrap, quite frankly. Thank you for your compliance. Then there's some Protectron controls. I don't really need to draw attention to myself by turning it on, although it sounds like it would be quite entertaining. Okay, this holotape is nearly full now, but there are more terminals in Diamond City to get through, so I will end here and continue on a new tape.
Thank you, Radioactive Rebecca. If you would like to participate in our Fallout Terminal Velocity segment, please send your favorite terminal, Pip-Boy, letter, anything entry around the wasteland, and send it to the falloutfeed@gmail.com, please.
We appreciate your submissions and reading terminals. Keep that terminal velocity going.
We'll resurrect it again in a couple of years.
Myrna's terminal is the best.
Isn't that great? Okay.
Yeah.
I love, she's so suspicious. I mean, one thing, I was recently watching the Piper scene going into Diamond City in the first person for the first time. And she's like, you know, I'll tell Crazy Myrna that you kept a supplier from coming in. I'm just like, the fact Piper calls her Crazy Myrna made me laugh. But
Yeah.
Ellie Perkins, parentheses, obviously, just because she works for Nick.
Right.
Like, Myrna's so bad. Arturo, too nice. Abbott,
she-
too mean.
She basically names everybody in Diamond City.
Yeah, pretty much every major NPC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and what you have to be left-handed and eat on an odd schedule.
Oh my God, that was so weird. Like if you eat promptly at noon,
Yeah,
like,
if you're right-handed and eat
and
at
are
noon.
right-handed.
Yeah.
but if there's one thing I've learned about
if you like baseball.
Will Cronin, only a senseless baseball. Yeah, honestly, we didn't interrupt Rebecca, but like we were all cracking up. That one,
Yeah,
too funny.
good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got? I think we just got some shouts on our way out the door tonight, unless anybody has any off the cuff topics you would like to get into tonight.
Well, I want to check in with Don. First of all, thank you, Don, for looking up some of the info on the new stuff in the gifts coming up for Holiday Scorched. I think you said, what? We've got outfits, paint skins, another dinosaur, a snowman, and an elf.
Yeah, the
What?
plastiform stuff that we got last time, they're adding a couple things, and one of them is you know how we have the little Vault-Tec elves? I guess this is a
Mhm.
big one. And the backpack flares are like a snowman and a candy.
You are
peppermint candy
singing
thing.
me a tune that I like to hear, sister.
The outfit is interesting because it's called Jitterbug Judy. Have you seen this on Twitter yet? It's Jitterbug
No.
Judy, but it's
I do
literally
not do
the Drive-In
Twitter
Dolly
anymore.
outfit.
Jitterbug Judy here. Let me go.
Oh, it's the Drive-In
Google
Dolly
that.
outfit, though. Yeah, I did.
The
see
Drive-In
that.
Dolly outfit.
Mhm.
So that's interesting because like somebody was like, I got this new outfit randomly because I guess they had opened some gifts or something, and it was the Jitterbug Judy, and we were all like, what's different about it?
Yeah,
You
so
know?
it's pink and blue. It's got a different thing. So if the regular one has a checked pattern, like a red and white kind of checked, this
It
looks
must-
more like it's
maybe
kind of
it's a different
pinkish and
color? I
aqua
don't
with
know.
jeans. Yeah, different colors there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It didn't look different on his videos. We were like, what?
Oh,
But
well,
I
the-
wasn't really listening to him too much, so I couldn't like of it.
Grab the data mine file
Oh,
on
cool.
it, and it is
Good.
different colors. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. So there's that, and then he mentioned there was it. I wasn't really listening too much, but it looked like there's some sort of mod maybe or skins or something for maybe the chainsaw.
Oh,
I don't
That
know.
would
I
make
got
sense.
this from Fargassier's
yeah. Well,
YouTube
that's awesome.
video, so
I'm
just go look it up.
glad he's got that out there. So
It's about the
we'll-
holiday scorched, and
well-
he probably put it out, I don't know, a few weeks ago or so. You might have to go back, but
we will
that's where I'm
find
at.
out what we're going to craft 30, 40, 50 handcrafted,
Right.
high
He
quality
even
gifts
talks
for.
about how he gets his gifts. So if you're like curious, like how do you mine presents, he talks about that on that video too.
I'm going to tell you the easiest way, of course. Go to a custom world and you can
Private,
actually
yeah.
do handcrafted for free. Yeah, well, no, custom specifically
Oh.
because you can craft for free without having to buy, because you have to buy gift wrap normally. But in custom,
Can you keep them from custom to regular?
no.
That's what I thought.
But you'll have them available to actually see and use within your custom. So
Yeah.
you can get them any time of year if you turn on the settings to always craft.
Okay. Well, he was just talking about how like you can go into your private world and you can take over every workshop and set up your Sanitron in every workshop and then just,
Hope
probably
for
a lot of
gifts.
people who just do that during work or whatever. I should do that or something, but who knows? But that's
we
what
love that. We all have the Sanitron blueprint for sure.
that's what and that's what he talked about doing. For people that have not done that before.
Well
You
done.
can purchase wrapping paper at the train stations like I do from the vendors, go into the poorhouse, buying wrapping paper, make your own presents and open them because
That's what we do.
Santa's not nice to you. And then I just have found it's more consistent that I might actually get some plans that way than
No, the
trying to wait
handcrafted-
for the stupid
Handcrafted
Sanitron.
have twice the drop rate too.
Yeah.
So based on high quality handcrafted,
You're actually
medium
paying
is the
for your
best
presents.
bang for your buck. Medium handcrafted are your best bet. But Dawn,
Yeah.
we're gonna say goodnight in a minute. But before we do, anything you want to shout out, what you've got going on, what's coming up? We're hitting the shout section, so let's let you shout first.
So, my regular podcast, which is the Fallout Roundtable, right now we're doing a summer NPC voting vote off. I don't know what we want to call it. It's like a bracket style. We do rounds where they're pitted against each other, and then I'm posting up live voting on Twitter, and everybody can go to @FalloutRTB, find those polls, and vote for your favorite NPC. And not necessarily based on who you think is going to like win in a fight. So, like, if I have, Paladin Dance versus the Overseer, whatever, I can't remember. Not like who's going to win at a fight. It's who do you find more compelling? Who would you want to be with you in the wasteland? Like, who's got a more interesting backstory or whatever? Like, what makes you think that that's just the coolest NPC ever?
Right, kind
Vote
of
for
like our
them.
Ken Pole Super Bowl, but a little
Yeah.
bit different on the companions. Have you had anyone come in and dominate with all dogpiling on Hancock and saying he's the best and goodbye dog meat yet?
But any Enclave representative, President Dash, is like he'll retweet and he'll say, vote early.
Know
vote
your
often.
audience. Apparently, you've got a heavy Enclave audience.
I
Okay.
do have a heavy Enclave audience. So like there's that. Unfortunately, King Fanman is going to be disappointed because the King did not make it through. He got voted out. He did not make it to the second round. So that's
This is not just companions. This is actual like major NPCs.
It's NPCs, yeah.
Mhm.
Some are companions, some are just regular old NPCs. Some of them are major NPCs. Some are ones that you see like maybe once. Like we've got Arch Doran in there from Fallout 2. You see him like once. He talks at you basically, and that's it. But he's in round 2. You guys like him, so he made it to round 2. So we just randomly picked these. Hopefully next year, we're going to have who won this to go on. Plus, hopefully we'll get more NPC suggestions from the community. But since we just started this is us. Like we made lists, we put them all together, and this is how it got started. So round 2 is live right now for like the next, at this point when this comes out, it'll probably be like 3 or 4 more days. So get out there and vote your NPCs through to round 3.
And check out Fallout RTB while you're at it.
Thank you. Oh, and then this November, I know it seems like a long ways out, but this November is the Fallout New Vegas Days in Good Springs, Nevada. It's going to be freaking hunkin' huge this year because of the TV show.
Getting more and more popular, and the TV show,
It's been getting exponentially bigger anyway. It's just been such a great event. Old Man Liver is like all in. He's even buying extra properties so that he can make this like a thing.
The owner of the Pioneer Saloon.
Yes, owner of the Pioneer Saloon. He's
AKA
been on our
Prospector
show.
Saloon in New Vegas.
Yeah, he's been on our show a couple of times. He's such a good dude. He's been adding on to the bar, making things like really neat. He's just added on a new deck they do live music and stuff there on a regular basis anyway. But it's a whole big thing. It's a whole big weekend. I know Jaxus goes every year. Jaxus and Maverick were there last year. I'm hoping to go this year. And Brian from Chipmunk always goes. Fallout for Hope is represented. It's a whole big thing. And
it'll be a really fun event. People should definitely look forward to that.
Anybody
kind of
who
thing
goes,
you've got to plan ahead for.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost anything. So like he doesn't charge cover or anything like that. It's a family event. Like kids can't go into the saloon, but there's so much stuff happening outside. Tons of cosplay, costume contest. There's going to be booths. People camp. I think there's going to be tours offered this year for like maybe going to some places like nearby. I think that's going to be new this year. So, and it's not that far from Vegas. So some people are just driving down from Vegas or whatever. So it's a whole thing. So, if you can pencil it in, and you may want to think about like adding your name to the head count list, because he's not charging for it, but he wants to know like how many people.
There will be limited space. Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
It's a lot of fun. So there's that going on. And that's one thing that we're kind of heavily focused on right now, just because, we do have some representation there, and Jaxus is kind of on the planning committee for it, and Brian's been doing so much work. He does like commercials for him and stuff like that. So it's a lot going on, but it's fun, and I'm hoping I can get some plane tickets at a
Yeah.
non-ridiculous price to get out there because, I really want to go.
I'm sure a lot of people will. I think a number of listeners went last year, and like you
Yeah.
said, it's growing, so probably more will.
But I'm expecting this year to be just huge because of the TV show and the fact that, that's
It's
more
getting known. I mean, as an event that would
Mhm.
naturally grow anyway among the community,
Exactly.
which is not
it has
small,
been.
but the fandom itself is certainly growing.
Yes.
Andrew,
And it's
have
closer
you
to the area of the game, of the TV show and the game, and everything. So yeah.
Andrew, have you woken Mo up? Is he ready to shout out a couple of scorecations?
Wait, hey, hang on. Let me. You know how you wake him up is you play the Nintendo chime. All right. Yes, he's ready.
Okay, we have 3 scorecations, people who hit 100 in the last week or so.
No
And first off, we have Sulior just hit 100.
Scorecation!
Clint is over 100 now.
Scorecation!
And along with Clint, we need to shout out Charlene, also on Scorecation.
Scorecation!
Good job, y'all. We cannot wait to join you in the wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful land of Scorecation, but not Scoretirement. I am not ready for that yet.
2 out of 3 ain't half bad.
Clint
I
says
don't know.
thanks, Mo.
We're dropping like flies.
And finally, on the little birthday thing there, we shouted it out for a Scorecation, but happy birthday to Eric, aka Sulior. Often with us, not tonight because of birthday festivities. So, yeah.
Well, happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday.
sir.
Man, pulling out the Vuvuzela for the celebration? Sweet.
That was a super mutant hound.
God
Come
damn.
on. So bad at that. Terrible. All right, I believe that's all I have. Ray, thank you so much for hopping on tonight, sir. You can find him over there at Ray LB, and also for his No Man's Sky show, the Butcher Baker Candle Maker in Space at BBCISSS. Ray, thanks so much.
Good times.
You can find Jess at Sleep is 4T, also You Wastelanders, and Dames Who Game. Jess, thanks so much.
Jingle, jingle, y'all.
And would you like to tell us, Dawn, where we could find information about your show and all of your activities online?
You'll find the show at Fallout RTB, and you'll find me at Sassy Lady 1103 on Twitter, and pretty much the usual haunts.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for hopping on tonight. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me.
All
Hey,
right.
and
Yes.
thank you for sending all that feedback in. Your first time joining a feedback
Yeah, no
roundtable
kidding.
for
That
Fallout
was
Fantastic.
great.
Studios.
That was a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
of fun.
Absolutely. I hope we can have you participate again in the future. That was pretty cool.
Absolutely.
All right. You can find me by joining our Facebook group, and the show can be found at the Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed, and I will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
The clouds are cloudier, the sun is sunnier, the bushes are bushier.
Only a synth loves baseball.
Strong souls out there who are probably really good at dieting.
Don't they know all synths are right-handed and always eat promptly at noon?
Bald or scabies? Bald or scabies?